Hello my fellow dragons, it's your boy Travis here, and welcome to a brand new Spyro video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. As many of you are aware, there are many popular video game franchises that would eventually get their own movies based on their success, including Ratchet & Clank, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, Illumination's upcoming Super Mario movie, and of course, we can't forget, Sonic the Hedgehog. And not just movies, we would also get an animated series based on them too. But what if I told you that in 2010, Spyro the Dragon was going to have a movie of his own? In fact, said film was going to be based on the Legend of Spyro trilogy, which of course was going to be called, well, The Legend of Spyro 3D. Okay, so I actually made a video with Crystal Blazer back in 2020 where we both talked about the movies, so I'll get you up to speed. The Legend of Spyro movie was a fully animated film that was going to be based on the previously mentioned reboot. The company that had the rights to the film at the time was the Animation Picture Company, and the film itself was going to be produced by John Davis, who also previously produced Aragon. And the Alteri brothers were also hired to write a script for the movie as well. Not much is known about the film's production, but apparently it was going to have a budget for $20 million? What? Okay, that's like a lot cheaper than a Pixar film that you'd see in theaters. You want to know how much they cost? $100 million. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's how much it cost to make Toy Story 4. With $20 million, it might as well just be a direct-to-DVD film or something. Like, that's how cheap it is, right? Anyway, the script for this movie was finished in 2008, and the film was set to be released in 2010. However, the movie eventually got cancelled because Activision wanted to take Spyro in a different direction. And that direction, of course, would be Skylanders. Despite the script for the movie being finished, there's sadly no evidence of the film's production. There was no trailer or behind-the-scenes footage. The only evidence of this movie's existence was the poster. And before you ask, yes, the poster is real. But recently, some new information about the movie resurfaced. On June 2022, the Lost Media Wiki discovered the fourth draft of the movie's script and uploaded the full document online. Since then, several fans started talking about it, and they even made fan art of the characters that were featured in the script. Shout out to them, by the way, they did a really good job with the designs. Now, I've only heard parts of this movie script at this point, and I haven't read the entire thing because I wanted to say that for when I eventually review it. And I guess now the time has come. And this video should be interesting because I did mention that it was going to have a low budget, but it was also going to be written by the same people who wrote Norm of the North, which, in case you haven't heard, is considered one of the worst animated movies of all time. Yeah, that should give you an impression of what this movie would have been if it ever saw the light of day. Okay, so I was originally going to write my own script for a full review and just talk about my thoughts and opinions about the movie. But then I decided, no, that's not enough. I want to do more than just review it. So for this video, I decided that I'm going to read the entire script to you guys live, which means for your viewing pleasure, I will be reacting to what I'm about to witness. Hopefully this video will at least be interesting to you guys. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I decided to torture myself, and I guess you just really want to watch me suffer, so this is gonna be fun. But if you want to just listen to the video while you're busy with other things like homework or doing chores or heck, even drawing something, then that works too. But anyway, enough of my rambling. I know you're really excited to watch the movie, or at least what was going to be the movie. So without further ado, go grab a snack if you need one, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is the script of the cancelled Legend of Spyro movie.
Bring it!
No mercy this time.
I can't watch this.
Alright, hey guys. I am currently about to read the script right now. This is the Legend of Spyro movie by the Alteri brothers. I mispronounced their name accidentally. I apologize for butchering your name. My apologies. Anyway, as I'm recording this, I'm about to read the fourth draft. This is actually the fourth draft, and I believe it's the final draft, which is the closest thing we get to the final version of the film. I'm on the first page, and it's over 89 pages long, actually. So, yeah, it's not really that surprising considering that movies in general just pretty much last, like, maybe over an hour. I'm not gonna lie to you, though. I am a little bit nervous going into this, especially as a Spyro fan, because I've heard that it has some really weird fetishy stuff. So I'm just gonna like put this warning out there right now. If any of that stuff makes you uncomfortable in any way, and if it makes you want to leave the video, then you know that'll be completely understandable. I'm not gonna judge you for that. But hopefully you guys will at least find this interesting in some way. So without further ado, let's get into the script. Over black, we hear an ancient voice that seems to be speaking from a faraway place. Voice, VO, I believe that's the narrator, I think. For centuries, we dragons lived in peace. We dragons lived in peace. Actually, is that Ignitus? It probably is. He usually narrates in like A New Beginning and Dawn of the Dragon. Fading on something extended or exit, I don't know. An ancient world day. A pink sun rises over a magical landscape of rolling hills and lush forests. A silver river weaves through the countryside, shimmering in the sunlight, and all around there are dragons. Yellow ones, blue ones, green ones, dragons of every color. They fly through the sky, run through the tall grass, and drift lazily down the river on their backs. Voice, VO, we prospered and lived in harmony with all the creatures in the lands. It was a time of great balance. A few dragons flap into an overgrown valley and emerge with mouths full of juicy berries. A couple others playfully chase each other through the clouds in a game of dragon tag, and watch as a mother and father fly beside their dragon son and cheer him on as he takes to the air for the very first time. Voiceover continued. Perhaps we were all so blinded by the light, we were unable to see the darkness approaching on the horizon. Blast! A burst of fire explodes out of the clouds, knocking two of the dragons out of the sky. Voiceover continued. We were unable to see the coming of the one they call the Dark Master. We hear a mighty roar and see two red eyes shine out of the clouds. They shine brighter and brighter and wide out of the screen. And when we regain our focus, we find ourselves enter a dark room night where a small egg sits on a soft bench of thatch glowing with luminescence. Can't read that right. That seems to come from within. A mighty red dragon stands before it. This is Ignitus. He finishes his story. And that is why you are so important, young one. For with you comes hope. Okay, so I just want to get this out of the way real quick. So apparently they're already revealing Malefor according to the script, which is pretty interesting because he's not like I know that there are glimpses of him in the statue from A New Beginning, and yeah, we do hear his name in the Eternal Night as well, and we see more of him, but he's not truly fully revealed, and we don't really truly see him or even hear his voice until Dawn of the Dragon. So yeah, we don't really actually see him in the flesh until then. So. Yeah, I think the movie's trying to cram all three of the games into one movie, despite the fact that it's mostly based on A New Beginning. Anyway, Ignitus smiles down at the egg when, boom, the room shakes. Ignitus's eyes widen. Boom, the room shakes again and the entire temple starts trembling. Dirt falls from the ceiling, faults appear in the walls. Ignitus tries to steady himself when, crack! The stone pedestal supporting the egg starts to give away. The egg rolls out of its nest and drops, but Ignitus catches it just in time. Phew, the gravelly voice of another dragon suddenly bellows from outside. Dragonois. Something, I don't know. They found us, guardians. Save the eggs! Ignitus darts over to an opening in the rock wall and peers out to sea. Okay, so before I continue, I think, I could be wrong, but are there more than 4 Guardians? Because I know there are only 4 in the Legend series, but in this movie, it seems to be there are more than that. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll find out as I read through this. Dragons scrambling from roofs and taking off into the night with eggs in their mouths. Ziz, the blasts of green acid suddenly came from out of nowhere, hitting a blue one in mid-flight. Ignitus. Cyril! Ignitus watches in horror as the dragon clutches its chest and falls into the darkness. The egg falling with him. Ignitus scans the sky for the source of the blast and is shocked by what he sees. A pack of hideous creatures is emerging from the clouds, hissing in delight. They have sharp claws and jagged yellow teeth, and their bodies seem to consist of rotting leaves, twisted thatch, and dripping mud, as if they were cut from the earth itself. These elemental beasts hang there in the sky, their red eyes gleaming. Elemental beast, surrender the eggs as the Dark Master has ordered. So, apparently, we're not being attacked by the apes, but instead we're being attacked by elemental beasts or something. Let's continue. Elemental Beast 2. There was no use in resisting. Elemental Beast 3. Give them to us if you want your temple to stand through the night. A yellow dragon suddenly bursts from the temple with an egg in its mouth. It is spotted by 2 of the elemental beasts, and they descend on him. One extends a sharp tail, limp, as the other elemental beast grabs the egg out of its mouth and flies off. Yellow dragon falling. The eggs protect the other eggs. And then he's gone. Ignitus turns away from the window and rushes to the egg. Ignitus. It is time, little one. He picks up the egg and places it under his wing when crash! The wall suddenly explodes, revealing 4 more of the elemental beasts. So, I guess we're seeing more elemental beasts now. Elemental beasts. Number 1. Give it to us now. Ignitus turns away to shelter the egg and smiles. Ignitus to himself. Isn't it nice when your enemies line up for you? He inhales and blasts. Hits the beasts with a burst of red fire. The beasts are blown back, and Ignitus takes the egg in his mouth and flies out into the night. I really suck at reading, guys. I'm sorry. Extend something. I don't know. Dragon Temple continuous. Ignitus hits the sky, flapping as fast as he can. 3 of the beasts regroup and give chase. He's defenseless with the egg in his mouth. Wait, sorry. Elemental Beast. He's defenseless with the egg in his mouth. Sorry. Elemental Beast 2. He cannot use his fire. They all charge when suddenly Ignitus tosses the egg into the air, blasts his surprised opponents, and catches it again. One of the beasts falls from the sky, but the other 2 keep coming. Zizz, zizz, zizz. They spit their green acid at him. Ignitus does his best to dodge, but the beasts stay with him. Bam. One of them rams from the side. Bam. And the other one rams from the other side. Okay, it's probably just me just being confused by the script, but I'm just really getting confused by everything, honestly. Both beasts suddenly pull up and go to ram him at once, but Ignitus hits the brakes, and the beasts slam into each other. Ignitus smiles and zooms past them. The beasts scream in rage and shoot off after him. As they pick up speed, they start spinning through the air and like flying eels. They get closer and closer, and then slam. They connect with Ignitus's neck, and the egg flies loose. No! Ignitus says. Ignitus watches in horror as it falls to the sky, and splash! It drops into the Silver River. Because, you know, that's totally what happened in the new beginning. Like, instead of, like, the egg falling into the river, Ignitus just, like, puts the egg on, I guess, a basket-like thing, and just, like, pushes it towards the Dragonfly Swamp. Ignitus dives after it. The beasts follow, and they all chase after the egg as it heads downstream and into raging rapids. The egg is bounced around, narrowly missing sharp rocks. Ignitus follows and tries to grab it, but the beasts grab his tail and pull him back. They slam him against the rock walls, ascending boulders dropping into the river. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. The egg barely avoids destruction. Ignitus narrows his eyes. Enough of this. He flies out of the channel and towards the brittle thicket of trees in the distance. I really suck at reading, I'm sorry. The beasts follow, and he suddenly turns around in the air and blast! The trees ignite and in an explosion of the fire, and the beasts are blown back. Ignitus drops down to the Silver River and finally snatches the egg. He checks it. It's still intact. He looks around. What now? When suddenly something catches his eye. A glimmer in the forest up ahead. Ignitus brightens. He casts a glance behind him. There was no sign of the beast and flaps off towards the glimmer. Extended forest night. Ignitus lands in a quiet woodland glen. The glimmer is gone now. He looks around and whispers into the fog. Ignitus, brothers, please, it is I, Ignitus the dragon. I need your help. Only the gentle rustling of the trees can be heard. Ignitus continued, I beg you, reveal yourselves. Suddenly, little glowing orbs of light emerge from the wood. They appear to be dragonflies. They circle around Ignitus, setting his desperate face aglow. Ignitus continued, there is no time to explain. I call on the allegiance of our distant ancestry. Take this egg, raise it in secret. It is the only hope we have. The dragonflies exchange hesitant glances. One, a serious-looking bug with a strong, steady glow, flies to the fore. This is Flash. Wherever there are dragons, there is war. We are peaceful creatures. Dragon Ignitus, don't bring your trouble to us. Ignitus, this egg will end all wars. It has been prophesied. The dragon will hatch from it. The dragon will hatch from it. Will bring peace. Sorry. The dragon that will hatch from it will bring peace to all the lands. This is why I suck at reading. Please, you must help me. The dragonflies look at each other, unsure. When a shadow falls on them, they all look up to see the two elemental beasts circling in the sky. Ignitus gives the dragonflies a pleading look. It's now or never. Suddenly, a female dragonfly with gentle eyes flies forward. This is Luna. I forgot to mention that in the actual Legend of Spyro games, her actual name is Nina, but I don't know. I guess they wanted to change her name to Luna for some reason. Cause, plot, I guess. I don't know. We will do what we can. Flash looks at her and shakes his hand. Ignitus smiles with relief and rolls the egg to her. The dragonflies lift it up and carry it towards a hidden passage in the rock when zzz! A blast of green acid whizzes past Ignitus. The beasts have found him. He casts one last gaze towards the dragonflies, then takes off into the sky. Slam! The beasts are suddenly upon him, tearing and clawing at him. One of them raises its sharp tail and sting. Ignitus goes limp. He tumbles through the air and drops lifelessly to the Silver River. I guess Ignitus is dead now. Can we have a moment of silence for Ignitus? The beasts cackle in triumph and swoop into the glen. It's deserted. There was no sign of the egg. They roar with frustration and scream into the woods. Wow, angry much? Elemental beasts, hide! Hide from us now! But you can't hide forever. The Dark Master will find you and prove the folly of this so-called prophecy. So, yeah, I guess I will give the script this. It does actually follow the plot point. It does actually follow the main point of the story of the Legend series that Spyro is the chosen one according to the prophecy. So, yeah. Ziz, they blast the trees with their green acid and take off into the night. Dissolve to extended Dragonfly Glen night. We're in a secret valley hidden in a forest. Two dragonflies flutter around the egg. Flash and Luna, husband and wife. Flash, I don't know why I didn't stop you. I should have put my wing down. Luna, and you and your wing, it's the right thing to do and you know it. Dragons and dragonflies have an ancient pact. Flash, but what are we going to do? Raise it as one of our own? We already have an egg. Luna, so what's one more? Luna gives him a smile. Flash frowns, giving in. The wife always wins, even in the world of dragonflies. Okay. Into something. Cozy dragonfly dwelling later that night. Luna and Flash roll the egg into a soft bed of thatch next to a much smaller smaller egg, a dragonfly egg. Why do I suck at reading today? God damn. Luna pats the eggs and dusts them off. She turns to her husband and give him a look. He blinks. What? Oh, right. He flutters off, returning a beat later with some leaves. He places one on top of the dragonfly egg, covering it like a blanket. Luna smiles. He places one on top of the dragon egg. It sits on top of it like a hat. Flash smiles. Luna doesn't. He sighs and flies off again. Dissolved to expectant parents montage. Pan down of the expectant dragonfly mothers, all knitting tiny little booties with happy little silkworm helpers by their side. At the end of the row, Luna is knitting an enormous pair of booties. Her silkworm helper desperately tries to keep up. What am I reading? 2. Pan down a row of expectant dragonfly fathers, building tiny little cribs. At the end of the row, Flash is hammering the last nail into an enormous crib. Bang, bang, crash. The entire thing topples over. The other expectant dragonfly fathers laugh. A dragonfly doctor holds a stethoscope made of sticks up to the dragonfly egg. and lets Flash listen. Thump, 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 thump. Oh my god, I even sound cringy just reading this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm making you guys cringe. But the script is already cringy, okay? Can you blame me? Flash lights up. The doctor then holds the stethoscope up to the dragon egg and lets Flash listen. Thump, thump. Flash is blown across the room. End sequence on. Enter cozy dragonfly dwelling night. The eggs sit in their nests before a flickering fire. Luna flutters before them with a warm smile. Any day now, Flash. Any day now. Behind her, Flash gives her a look and then passes out. We push into the embers of fire and dissolve to extend Mountain of Malefor night. The dark mountain is hideously framed against the dual moons. Its peak is shaped like a gargoyle, twisting unnaturally into the night sky. A moat of bumbling tar winds around it like an oily snake. It's bleak, horrible. We move inside. Enter Mountain of Malefor, Room of Shadows night. A large red gem sits atop a stone pedestal, bathing the room in an eerie glow. A small black bat. That's racist. I'm kidding. With oversized fangs, hangs upside down from the ceiling. This is Pox. I don't know why, but this feels like one of those villain sidekicks that you'd see in one of those Barbie movies. Am I the only one getting that vibe? Anyway, this is Pox. He watches as the two of the elemental beasts slither in, one holding an egg. Pox, lisping due to fangs. Master, the beasties, they have returned. Is it gonna sound like that during the entire script? Oh god, no. The elemental beasts approach the darkest corner of the room and place the egg down like an offering. Elemental Beast 4, as you commanded, Master. Two red eyes appear in the darkness. They gaze down on the egg and narrow. The Dark Master off, booming. This is not the egg of prophecy! The elemental beasts flinch and cower. Pox deliciously. Oh boy, this is gonna be good because, if you sound like a snake, then that means you're intimidating, right? Pox watches with sadistic delight as one of the elemental beasts summons enough courage to step up to the red eyes. Elemental beasts, number 5. But the Guardians, it's one they coveted or something. I don't know how to read that. I'm sorry. How can you be sure? The Dark Master off. You dare question me? Elemental Beast 4. We are sorry, Master. We have failed you. Let us take it away. And Dark Master off. Silence! Leave it where it lies. I will make use of it. The Elemental Beasts back away. Elemental Beast 5. We will return to the temple. We will find the egg. We will find egg you seek. Dark Master off. No. The Elemental Beast stop. Dark Master off continued. Your service has come to an end. Is he gonna fire them? Is he gonna kill them? Blast! Fire suddenly explodes out of the darkness, reducing the elemental beasts to piles of ash. Whoa, that's dark. I actually did like something similar to in one of my old crossover projects, Spyro crossing over, where I forget what I named the villain, but it was the one with the cloak. I actually used like a Raven model from Teen Titans to make it as a substitute for the villain, and I actually made the character like blast one of its minions for stepping in the way when it tried to like trap Spyro in another universe. But anyway, Pox giggles with delight as the display and reflection of the red eyes appears on the egg. Dark Master off continued. As for you, your service has only just begun. A claw reaches out and pets the egg. Wait, so is that egg Cynder's or something? Did they actually steal Cynder's egg? I think that might be Cynder, because I know that she was corrupted. I know she was stolen and corrupted in the Legend series, so that might be her. Dark Master off continued, and your brother egg will be found. It will be found! The red crystal suddenly pulses, filling the room with its crimson glow. Dark Master continued. Pox, I have a task for you. Pox's eyes whiten with delight. He launches off the ceiling and lands on the egg. Pox. Anything, Master. Anything. As Pox waits for his instructions, we move close to the egg and dissolve into cozy dragonfly dwelling night, where the other dragon egg sits in a bed of soft thatch next to the dragonfly egg. Suddenly, one of the eggs trembles. Luna flies up. What was that? She stares down at the eggs, but it looks like it was nothing. She shrugs and goes to fly off again. When the other egg trembles, Luna spins back around and watches with excitement as both the eggs start to twitch and shake. She turns, and Luna, Flash, I think they're hatching. I think they're both hatching. Flash quickly appears by her side, frazzled. Flash, okay, let's just stay calm, breathe. Honey, I need you to breathe. The important thing is not to panic. He starts flying back and forth in a panic, and Flash continued, I'm gonna go boil some water. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's sort of accurate to how Flash and Nina reacted to Spyro hatching in A New Beginning. As Ignitus pointed out, what emerged from the egg frightened them at first, but finally amazed and astonished them. So maybe that might actually happen later. He goes to fly off, but Luna grabs him. Luna, honey, just watch. Flash takes a deep breath and watches with Luna as the eggs continue to twitch and tremble and crack. The expectant parents gasp as a little yellow dragonfly pokes his head out of a smaller egg. He's cute, wide-eyed, and is a spitting image of Flash and Luna. The proud parents glow even brighter at the sight of him when crack, the other egg opens and much bigger head pops out of it. It's cute, wide-eyed, and looks nothing like Flash and Luna. It's a little purple dragon. It's Spyro, guys! Yay, it's Spyro! At least it's not an abomination like John from Dragon's Destiny of Fire when he was born. Remember when I reviewed that? I'm sorry I brought it up. Luna gives both of her babies a maternal smile. Flash looks at the dragons, not sure how to feel, then turns to the dragonfly and smiles proudly. Flash, my son will be named Sparx. Luna gives him a look. Luna and our other son, why did I say that? Will be named. Flash looks at the little purple dragon and then looks away. He's not ready to accept this. Luna frowns at him and then smiles at her new dragon son. Luna continued, Spyro. We'll call him Spyro because of course. I mean, they could have come up with a different name like Pyro because that's actually what Insomniac did when they first made Spyro 1, but they thought it was too mature for a kids game, so they just decided to add an S at the beginning just to be safe. And that's how we got Spyro today. Spyro. We'll call him Spyro. Luna smiles as the two babies look around at their new world. They see each other and smile. Brothers, and they both start to wailing. They both start wailing. Babies. Okay. I guess we're doing this then. I know that there's this certain part where a certain thing happens. I heard of that part. And I'm not ready to do this, but we're gonna try to press on as a group. I need you guys with me. Let's go. Oh god, I'm so scared. Cut to baby sequence. Oh boy. Number 1, Luna sits in a rocking chair, gently rocking Sparx to sleep in her lap. Pan over to see Flash in a rocking chair, struggling under the weight of Spyro in his lap. Just when Spyro falls asleep, crash. The chair breaks and Spyro falls to the ground, completely flattening Flash. Spyro starts wailing again. Luna holds his bottle of glowing milk to Sparx's mouth, and he gently suckles it down. Pan over to see Flash, surrounded by dozens of empty bottles, frantically trying to keep up as Spyro chugs and chugs. The bottle empties, and Flash reaches for another, but he's out. Spyro looks at him and, you guessed it, starts wailing again because he's a big baby. Get it? Because he's a big baby. Oh, I'm not ready for this next part. Help me. Luna takes a tiny diaper off of Sparx and flies off. Pan over to see Flash removing an enormous diaper from Spyro. It's bursting at the seams. Flash winces and goes to carry it off, but he loses his balance, flips to the ground, and the diaper lands on top of him. Splat. Oh, God. No. I did not want to read this part. Spyro finally stops wailing and starts laughing. Sparx joins in, and the two brothers laugh and laugh together. Oh, God. That was so cringy. Oh, that was so uncomfortable to read. Oh my god. We did not need a baby montage, okay? Okay, I'm fine with seeing Spyro and Sparx being born on the spot. but not a baby sequence where they try to change the diapers. Like they don't even wear clothes. Why do they need baby clothes? Why? Let alone diapers. Why? Why do we need that? Why was it necessary? Why was a baby montage necessary? Let's continue. Let's continue. Into Dragonfly Glen, Lash in Luna's dwelling. Luna flutters in place, exercising on her flutter mill. She finally stops, out of breath, and flies over to what looks like a small scale on the ground. She steps on it. So does she have feet? It doesn't look like what it says. Luna, oh, I'm never gonna go lose this egg weight. She shakes on her head. She shakes her head when Flash, out of scene, I guess. Luna, come quick. Luna, what is it? Flash, off screen. I think that's what it is. It's Sparx. I think is about to take his first flap. Luna's eyes widen, and she flies into the other room to see Flash fluttering in the air over Sparx and Spyro. They're a bit older now, toddler age, and Sparx's wings are just beginning to unfold. Luna and Flash watch in awe as little Sparx flaps one wing, flaps another, and then flutters into the air. Luna, he did it. Our little baby is flying. He's flying, Flash. They watch in awe as Sparx awkwardly flutters higher and higher in the air, flying for the very first time. Spyro watches his brother and gets a determined look in his eye. He turns and looks at his own undersized wings. Why not? He strains and one of them flaps. Luna continued, noticing. Flash, look! Flash turns to see Spyro's little wings starting to flap too. He and Luna watch as Spyro flaps them faster and faster, and then jumps into the air and crash, slams straight into the kitchen table, breaking it to pieces. Flash winces. Luna rushes over, and Sparx breaks into hysterics. Spyro shakes off the debris and shrugs. Oh well. Dissolve to extended Dragonfly Glen. Time passes. Seasons change in the Glen. Summer to fall to winter to the colorful return of spring. We move into Flash and Luna's dwelling to see into Dragonfly Glen. Flash and Luna's dwelling. Luna fluttering nervously in front of Flash. Luna, I don't know, maybe we should wait until next season. Flash, Luna, it's time. We have to let him spread his wings. Swish pan to reveal Spyro older now. The age and size he'll be for the rest of the story. So, wait, hold on. Before I continue, so are they using his, design from Dawn of the Dragon, or is he using the Chrome version from A New Beginning and The Eternal Night? Because I know that the Dawn of the Dragon design was used in, like, the poster for the movie, so it might be that, but, I just like to assume that, they're using the young design. So I'll just go with that, if that's okay with everyone. He's standing on the ground, trying to spread his wings. He gives them a little flap, but nothing happens. Sparx, off. Come on, bro. You call that flapping? Sparx, also older, flies into the frame. Sparx continued. It's the first day of school. You don't get liftoff soon. If you don't get it liftoff soon, we're doomed. We'll be stuck at the crud beetle table at lunch. And you know what those guys eat? Spyro. I'm trying, Sparx, I'm trying. Spyro flaps his wings again, still nothing. Sparx slaps his forehead. What, is that supposed to be a facepalm? Crud, Sparx. Crud beetles, here we come. Sparx gives him a look and smiles. Spyro, hey, we'll be sitting with them anyway, thanks to that haircut Mom gave you. Sparx's eyes widen. Sparx, I told her to go easy on the antenna. Sparx self-consciously adjusts his antenna. Spyro laughs. Spyro, and besides, flying or no flying, I'm still faster than you. Spyro turns and runs out the door. Sparx, hey, wait up. So, I guess Spyro and Sparx are going to school now, 'cause, you know, that's what chosen ones do, right? Sparx flies after him. Flash and Luna flutter to the door. Luna, be careful, boys. Look both ways before you cross the stream. Don't talk to any strange bugs, and come straight home after. Flash, Luna, they'll be fine. Flash puts his arm around her and gives her a squeeze. Luna wrings her hands and tries not to worry. Okay, so I guess we're going to the Dragonfly Glen day. Sparx chases Spyro through the Glen. He flies past him. swatting him on the back of the head as he passes. Sparx. Haha, how's that for fast? Sparx turns around and gives Spyro a taunting smile when, bonk, he flies right into a low tree branch. Sparx continued. Ow! Spyro laughs, ducks under the branch, and runs past him. Spyro, I don't know, how's that for clumsy? Sparx rubs his head and flies after him. They chase each other through the glen and soon catch up with the other young dragonflies, heading towards a clearing in the distance. A cute dragonfly girl flies past Sparx and gives him a smile. I guess, the Sparx is getting a girlfriend or something, I don't know. Hi, I'm Glimmer. Sparx turns to her and his eyes widen. She's just so pretty. Big fluttering eyelashes and a smile that lights up her face. Sparx is gonna get a love interest, isn't he? Sparx's jaw goes slack and completely loses the ability to speak. This is one of those love stories where a character falls in love with a random pretty girl at first sight, and they're like, hi, you're sexy. Okay, Sparx. Oh, hi, blah! Oh, that is so cringy, oh my god. Sparx suddenly freezes in the air and drops into a bush. Glimmer shrugs and continues to the other dragonflies. Spyro. Spyro runs to the bush and parts the branches to reveal Sparx, still moon-eyed and slack-jawed. Spyro continued. Sparx, are you okay? Sparx shakes it off. Sparx. Yeah, I'm fine. I just tripped. That's all. Spyro, in midair. Sparx pulls himself up and dusts himself off. Sparx, let's just get to class, okay? He flies after the other dragonflies. Spyro grins and flies after him. Spyro, no problem. Blah. What was that? Like, was that not just a random noise that Sparx made? Sparx turns and gives Spyro a look. Spyro continued. What, isn't that your new name? I think it's more of a nickname, actually. Sparx does a slow boil and flies off. Spyro giggles and runs after him. Spyro continued, singing Glimmer and Bois sitting in a tree. Glowing. Oh, this writing, it's so childish. Oh, I mean, you can tell that this movie was clearly going to be. You can tell that this movie was clearly going to be aimed for kids and only kids. Okay, not for adults. Certainly not for Spyro fans. Okay, I said that already. I'll say it again if I have to. Sparx frowns, humiliated, and they follow all the other young dragonflies into the clearing. Right as they go, we see a small black creature appear in the trees. It's the Dark Master's bat, Pox. He chuckles to himself and flies off. So, like, has the bat been stalking Spyro and Sparx for years? Because that's kind of creepy, don't you think? The Dragonfly Glen, clearing day. Dozens of young dragonflies are gathering around before a stern dragonfly teacher. All right, stop fluttering about and gather around. The dragonflies settle and hover before the teacher. Sparx and Spyro approach and take their place at the back of the class. Dragonfly teacher continued. Now then, I see you all have found your wings. Very good, very good. No late flyers among us. Among us! I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry. At the back of the group, Spyro shrinks down behind all the dragonflies and tries to hide. The dragonfly teacher continued, but I wonder how many of you realize just how important flying is. It is our greatest defense and the secret to our survival. What do I mean by that? 2 words, fight or flight. The dragonfly teacher flutters back and forth in front of the class. Dragonfly teacher continued. When we dragonflies are threatened, which do we choose? He points to a gangly dragonfly in the front row. So, gangly? Is it some kind of group of bullies or something? Dragonfly teacher. Correct. When we dragonflies find ourselves confronted by an adversary, which do we choose? He points to a pretty dragonfly with braided antenna. Pretty dragonfly. Fly. So, like, are they just gonna fly away when they face an enemy or something? Dragonfly teacher. Very good. Flying is not just what we do, class. It is what we are. We're dragonflies. We're not dragon fights. That's just stupid. That's just stupid dialogue. Bad. Bad script. Bad. Bad, go to the corner. He smiles and pauses for a laugh, but one doesn't come. Kind of ironic since I am already not laughing. I know I actually am laughing, but you know, not because I think the script is funny. It's not funny at all. Dragonfly teacher continued, frowning to himself. Never gets a laugh to the class. Anyway, today we will be working on mastering your technique. I will teach you how to dart and hover, zig and zig, most importantly, how to zoom. The class oohs and ahs. Oh boy. Dragonfly teacher continued. Now come, follow me to the training course. The Dragonfly teacher flutters off, and all the students fly after him. Sparx goes to join the group, but sees Spyro standing there looking at his feet. Sparx thinks for a second, then he suddenly flutters after the teacher. Sparx, hey Teach, can I talk to you for a second? Dragonfly teacher. Yes, what is it? Sparx leads in confidentially. Sparx, it's my brother. He hasn't really, Spyro off. I can't fly. The Dragonfly teacher turns to see Spyro standing there on the ground. Dragonfly teacher, yes, young Spyro, isn't it? Been looking forward to having you in my class. Don't worry, son. We will soon have you up off the ground before you know it. We just have to get a little creative. Spyro looks up at him nervously. Creative? Cut to Dragonfly Glen, clearing a beat later. As a group of young dragonflies slalom down an obstacle course of trees and rocks. We pull back to see Spyro hooked to an elaborate system of pulleys. Ropes are tied to his wings, and his body is in a training sling. The Dragonfly teacher flutters beside him, holding the end of the rope. Dragonfly teacher, you just need a little help getting the motions down, that's all. So on the count of 3, you flap your wings, and I'll do the rest. Got it, kiddo? Spyro, sure, I guess I'll give it a try. Dragonfly teacher, good. Now 1, 2, and flap. Spyro starts flapping his wings as fast as he can, and the Dragonfly teacher pulls on the rope. The pulley system kicks in Spyro, and Spyro starts to actually rise off the ground. Dragonfly teacher continued. That's it. Keep flapping. Don't stop now, boy. Spyro flaps, but then one of his wings gets caught in the ropes and crunk. The entire system starts to unravel. Dragonfly teacher, whoa! I think that's what's happening. The Dragonfly teacher is suddenly yanked forward and pulled through the system of the pulleys. The entire system collapses. Spyro drops to the ground, and the teacher drops beside him, flattened. Dragonfly teacher, woozy. Not bad for your first try. He passes out. Quick series of shots. The other Dragonfly students watch with wide eyes as 1. The Dragonfly teacher and 2 assistants fly under Spyro's wings like little fluttering training wheels. Spyro slowly rises into the air, and then he's released. He hovers in the air for a moment, flying on his own, and then suddenly drops out of frame with a crash. Spyro stands in the middle of the clearing with some sort of hose in his mouth. Pan over to... Oh, no. I think I know what this is. Why? I'm not ready for this. The Dragonfly teacher fluttering over a small hand pump. He starts pumping, and Spyro starts to inflate and rise into the air. Then Spyro sneezes, shooting himself out of frame and blowing the teacher to the ground. What am I reading? Am I reading a fetish fanfic? Because that's what that seems like. Okay, this has to be satire. Okay, this has to be fan made. But no, this is a real script for a real movie that was canceled, and I'm honestly not surprised that it was canceled. Number 3, a now very nervous Spyro sits in a small basket that's part of a huge slingshot. The Dragonfly teacher's assistants pull him back, and zing! He's shot out of frame. All the Dragonflies follow his trajectory with their eyes up, and then straight down. Crash. Dragonfly Glen, clearing afternoon. All of the Dragonflies laugh as Spyro stumbles out of the bushes. He shakes off some twigs, looks up at all the laughing faces around him. One of the Dragonflies calls out, Dragonfly off. Hey, what do you call a Dragonfly who can't fly? A dragon walk. The Dragonflies laugh even harder. Spyro looks down when a Dragonfly bully with a red where the red glow flies up. Dragonfly bully. I don't think he's a dragonfly at all. I don't know what he is. The dragonfly flies around Spyro, looking him up and down. Dragonfly bully. What's with you? No fly zone? Why can't you fly? Why are you so gigantoid? And are you purple? I mean, can you seriously not tell that he's not a dragonfly? He's obviously a dragon. Like, come on, you can't tell the difference between a dragonfly and a dragon. Spyro, I don't know. I dragonfly bully. You know what I think? I think you're nothing but a freak. You clearly don't know what dragons are, dude. They're kind of different from dragonflies, okay? I know they have like sort of the same name, but they're still pretty different, okay? Spyro winces, hurt, when Sparx comes pushing through a crowd. Sparx, lay off. He's not a freak. Don't say that. The dragonfly bully gives Sparx a look. Dragonfly bully. You're one to talk. Nice haircut. The crowd explodes with laughter. Sparx turns bright red and covers his antenna. Spyro, stop it. Just stop it. Stop picking on us. The dragonfly bully turns back to Spyro and gets right in his face. Dragonfly bully, threatening. Why don't you make me? Spyro glares up at the bully and then sags. Dragonfly bully continued. Yeah, that's what I thought. Spyro looks at his feet. Sparx, come on, Spyro. Let's get out of here. Sparx pulls Spyro off as they go. Dragonfly bully, off. See you around, gigantoid. More dragonfly laughs accompanies Sparx and Spyro as they disappear into the trees. This is one of those stories where the hero faces school problems, isn't it? Like, I know that it's a common thing that a lot of students deal with. I know that they commonly deal with bullies and such. At least I think they do. But I don't know, I feel like it's one of those tropes that is commonly used in certain movies where the character turns out to be a hero. Am I the only one realizing that? Okay, let's see. Dragonfly Glen, afternoon. Spyro shuffles through the forest. Sparx flies by his side. Sparx, don't let that guy get you down, bro. He's been a rotten egg since he was an egg. Spyro shakes his head. Spyro, but he's right, Sparx. Why can't I fly? Why am I so big? Why am I the only dragonfly this color? Because you're not a dragonfly? Like, it's pretty obvious, dude. Like, I know he's gonna find out eventually, but still, dude. Have you ever looked in the mirror? Sparx shrugs. Sparx, you might as well ask why I'm so good looking. Every dragonfly's different, that's all. Spyro, yeah, I just think I'm more different than most. Spyro sighs. Sparx gives him a look and tries to snap him out of it. Sparx, hey, I know what'll cheer you up. Mom said she's making grub burgers for dinner tonight. Come on, I'll race you. So, like, is that a swamp thing? Because I know that Spyro and Sparx used to live in a swamp in A New Beginning until they met Ignitus. Or at least until Spyro found out that he was a dragon, so, yeah. Spyro brightens a bit. Spyro, okay, but you know the rules. No flying, no narrow shortcuts, no... Hey! Sparx is already way ahead of him. Spyro laughs and races after him through the pleasant woods. It's a fun little chase between best friends, but when they emerge from the trees into the Dragonfly Glen, they find their village under attack. Strange creatures are knocking over nests and chasing dragonflies with clubs, like the elemental beasts. These creatures also appear to be cut from the earth. Their bodies are grassy, held together with thatch and loam, their mouths gaping maws of rotting bone. Those are goblins. Goblins? Oh, so, are those the same enemies from the swamp from A New Beginning? Okay, I will give it this. It does acknowledge the enemies from A New Beginning. I'll give it that. Spyro continued. Sparx, what's going on? Sparx, I don't know, but we gotta find Mom and Dad. Spyro and Sparx change into the chaos, and we move to another part of the Glen, where two goblins, are they goblins or goblins? I'm gonna call them goblins, I don't know, are holding Flash and Luna by the wings. They shake them. Goblin number 1, stop stalling, maggot. We know you're hiding him. Goblin number 2, boss, technically they aren't maggots. See, the maggot is the larval stage of Goblin 1. Shut up, I know what they are. Goblin 1 slaps Goblin 2 and then turns to Flash and Luna. Goblin 1 continued. If you tell us where he is, we'll let you keep one wing. The goblins pull out at Flash's wings and flick Luna's antenna. Flash and Luna grit their teeth, defiant. Flash, we told you, we don't know anything about any Spyro off. Mom, Dad! Flash and Luna spin to see Sparx and Spyro. The goblins see them too. Goblin 1. There he is, the purple one. Well, looks like you screwed up, Spyro. You got yourself caught red-handed. Flash, Spyro, run, get out of here. But before Spyro can react, the goblins are all around him. Goblin 3. Come here, little dragon, you're coming with us. Spyro backs away, scared and confused. Spyro, dragon? What are you talking about? I'm a dragonfly. The goblins look at each other and explode in disgusting chortles? I don't know how to pronounce things. I'm sorry, okay? Don't judge me, okay? Leave me alone. Goblin 2. Right. And I'm a fairy princess. Goblin 2 lifts his tunic like a tutu and starts prancing around. What the hell am I reading right now? Is this... No. Okay, let's continue. Goblin 2 continued, singing like a princess. Dee dee dee, look at me, aren't I a pretty? What the frick? What the hell? The goblins laugh and grin down at Spyro. Goblin 1, whatever you are, you're coming with us. The goblins lunge at Spyro again and this time manage to grab him. They drag him over to a small cage and lock him inside. Sparx, frantic. Mom, Dad, what should I do? What should I... Swat. Goblin suddenly swats Sparx to the ground. Well, Sparx is dead. Can we have a moment of silence for Sparx? Commence coffin music. Goblin 2, what's that? Goblins all explode into laughter. Spyro, Sparx! Sparx looks up hurt, powerless to do anything. Spyro pulls at the bars of the cage. As the goblins continue to chortle, one of them still holds Flash and Luna tightly in its grip. Goblin 1, I guess we don't need you two anymore. There's one thing I need. A snack. The goblin dangles Flash and Luna over at his gaping maw and is about to drop him in. When Spyro, no! A blast of orange fire suddenly explodes from Spyro's mouth. It hits the goblins and sets their leafy hides ablaze. Okay, again, I will give the script credit where credit's due. At least it does reference the scene where Spyro, saves Sparx from his certain death by breathing fire at the apes. I'll give it that. The goblins, yeah! They drop Flash and Luna and hop screeching into the woods, stopping, dropping, and rolling along the way. Spyro looks down at itself, confused and shaken, and then looks at his parents. Spyro, what am I? Dragonfly Glen later that night. Luna flutters around the village, cleaning up with the other dragonflies. Spyro chases behind, still shaken. Spyro, come on, Mom, I want to know. Luna, I don't know what you're talking about, Spyro. You're my son. You're one of us, just like we've always. Spyro jumps in front of her. Spyro, stop it. Just tell me. Tell me what I am. Luna flutters there, frozen. Flash flies up and puts his hand on her shoulder. Flash, Luna, it's time for him to know the truth. Luna nods and looks down. Flash turns to Spyro and takes a deep breath. Flash continued. It's true, Spyro. You're not the same as we are. You're not a dragonfly. You're a dragon. Spyro's eyes widen. Spyro, a dragon? Sparx flies up behind him. Sparx, say what? Sparx looks at them all with his bug eyes, and we dissolve to cozy dragonfly dwelling evening. Spyro sits before a flickering campfire. Flash and Luna flutter before him, their faces filled with truths to be told. Flash, you were given to us by a dragon from the great dragon temple up the river. We were meant to keep you hidden, but you are hidden no more. Whoever is searching you will return, and I fear they will not stop until they find you. Flash looks at Luna, who nods grimly. Luna, wherever there are dragons, there is war, and now that war has come to us. Sparx looks up at the ones he once knew as his mother and father. He looks over at Sparx, sitting in the back of the room with his mouth agape. Spyro looks down. He's never felt like more an outsider, and his face shows it. Flash, we will leave this place, find a new home for ourselves. More. Flash continued. We will do what the dragonflies do when they are threatened. We will survive by choosing flight. Flash puts his hand on Spyro's shoulder. Flash continued. Don't worry. We will do anything to protect you. You are still our son, Spyro. Luna looks at Flash, touched. He's come around after all. Dragonfly Glen, Spyro in Sparx's room that night. Spyro and Sparx enter the bedroom silently, avoiding eye contact. Spyro sits down on his thatch bed and looks at his feet. Sparx flies up behind him. He goes to say something, but stops. For the first time, he doesn't know what to say to his brother. He finally shakes it off. Sparx, so a dragon, huh? Yes, that explains some things. Spyro looks away. Spyro, yeah, I guess it does. Sparx flies around to face him. Sparx, when you think about it, it's pretty cool. I mean, a dragon, like, makes claws with his hands. Rawr! Sparx gives him a smile. Sparx continued, hey, I just thought of something. You can be my bodyguard. Now that would be cool. Spyro doesn't smile back. Yeah, cool. Spyro slumps off his bed and picks up a small leaf sack. He opens it up and starts throwing stuff into it. Berries, a blanket, some twine. Sparx looks at him. Sparx, Spyro, what are you doing? Spyro, I'm leaving, Sparx. Sparx, leaving? What are you talking about? Spyro turns to face him. Spyro, Sparx, if I stay here, I put everyone in danger. You heard what your parents said. Wherever there are dragons, there is war. Sparx, my parents? They're your parents too. Spyro, no, not anymore. Spyro shakes his head, not understanding. Spyro takes a deep breath. Spyro continues. Sparx, I need to do this. I need to find out who I really am. Sparx turns and goes to throw his leaf pillow into his bag, but Sparx grabs it. Sparx, this is silly. Spyro, nothing's changed. We're still brothers. Okay, so you're a dragon, not a dragonfly. What's the difference? 3 letters and a couple of pounds? Sparx takes the sack and chucks it under Spyro's bed. Sparx continued. Come on, let's just go to bed. Everything will be okay in the morning, trust me. Spyro looks at Sparx and finally gives in. Spyro, okay, you're right. Let's just go to bed. Good night, Sparx. Spyro hops into his bed. Sparx gives him a smile. Sparx, good night, bodyguard. Rawr! Sparx laughs. Spyro does too. But we can see he doesn't mean it. Dragonfly Glen, Spyro in Sparx's room. Later. Sparx is asleep in his bed, gently talking in his sleep. Sparx talking in his sleep. No, Glimmer, my name is Sparx, not Blah. This is... I feel like the ending is gonna be awkward. I don't know about you guys. We pan over to see Spyro also asleep, or maybe not. His eyes suddenly open. He quietly gets up, retrieves his sack from under the bed, and tiptoes to the door. Before he leaves, he turns and gives his dragonfly brother one last look. Sparx continued, talking in his sleep. Oh hey, have you met my bodyguard? Spyro sighs and tiptoes out. Dragonfly Glen, Flash and Luna's room. Night. Spyro appears at the door and peeks in at Flash and Luna asleep in a hammock. He gazes at them and then drops his head and tiptoes into the darkness. Spyro walks through his village, sack slung over his shoulder, giving the glen he's called his home one last glance. He looks at the little dwellings and the tiny campfire pits, and then he walks into the night. I do want to apologize if I keep stuttering a lot. I tend to do that a lot, especially when I read things, so yeah, I apologize. Outskirts, night. Spyro makes his way down a dark path. Moonlight barely penetrates the thick canopy of trees. Trees with branches that reach out at him like claws. Mysterious noises echo all around him and strange shadows across his path. Spyro looks around, afraid. Okay, so I think that's a reference to Spyro, to A New Beginning, when the apes, I guess, are stalking him, and Spyro just starts running away, I guess, when he decides to leave the Dragonfly Swamp. Are those figures in the bushes, or is it just his imagination? Spyro shivers and pushes on. But then, what's that? He spins towards a rustling in the bushes. Or that. He spins again and starts walking backwards, crouching, trying to make himself smaller. The sounds of the forest seem to multiply, amplify, and it's too much for him. He turns and runs. Dark forest, night. Spyro runs through the thick forest, branches tearing at him, bushes tripping him until he gets to a clearing. Where is he? He looks around, lost, scared, confused. He tries to get his bearings, but he doesn't know where to turn. He looks down. Guess he could camp here. Dark forest, a moment later. Spyro drops some sticks onto a small pile of leaves. He picks up 2 of them, kneels down, and tries rubbing them together. Nothing happens. He rubs harder. They don't even smoke. He looks at the leaves and gets an idea. He stands up and looks around. Yeah, why not? He takes a deep breath, leans over the leaves and breathes. Nothing. He shakes his head. Why can't he do it again? Maybe he's got to breathe harder. He takes a few steps back, gets a running start, and breathes. Still nothing. He sits back down in front of the pile of leaves and sighs. He pulls a blanket out of his sack, pulls it over his little wings, and shakes his head. Spyro, some dragon I am. Spyro shivers, clutches the blanket tighter, and tries to block out the scary sounds that surround him. Dissolved to Mountain of Malefor, Room of Shadows at night. The red gem glows, casting the shadow of a young dragon on the wall. Beside it, the red eyes of the Dark Master gleam from the darkness. Dark Master, off. Be still, my pet. Pox swings into view, again hanging upside down from the ceiling. Pox. Hey, I thought I was your pet. Ah, the snake talk again. I forgot about that. I mean, who found that pesky purple pest for you anyway? The Dark Master growls. Pox gulps. Pox continued. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Pox clams up and watches as, whoosh, fire suddenly shoots out of the darkness and strikes the gem. The flames swirl and dance inside, illuminating an eddy of what appears to be a host of ghostly dragons within. And then, crack, the fire shoots back out of the gem and connects with the shadow of the young dragon as if completing a circuit. The shadow shudders. Dark Master off. Yes, embrace the darkness. Give in to it. Let it fill you up. The shadow of the dragon steadies itself, twitches, and then starts to grow before our eyes. Dark Master off, continued. Yes. Let it take away all your fear. Let it grow within you and give spark to your darkest powers. The shadow grows even bigger when from off screen. Goblin. My lord, we found it. The gem dims, the shadow of young dragon fades, and the red eyes turn to see the goblins 1 and 2 entering. Goblin 2. It was right where the little bat said it was. Pox nods proudly. The red eyes turn on the goblins. Dark Master off. Then why was it not before me? The goblins gulp. Is it gonna kill them too? Goblin 2. Well, we certainly did not want to disappoint your greatness, the Dark Master. But, Goblin 1, it breathes fire. The red eyes narrow. The Dark Master off. Fire? You think that was fire? Oh, foolish goblins. How surprised you'll be when you feel the fury of true dragon fire. The red eyes flash. The goblins wince and look at each other. Goblin 1, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Goblin 2, yep, we're toast. That's what I was thinking too. The goblins close their eyes and brace themselves, but nothing happens. Goblin 2 opens one of his eyes and looks around. Goblin 2, we're not toast? The red eyes dim. The Dark Master off. You have failed me, make no mistake of that. But your folly may prove valuable after all. The goblins relax. Pox frowns. Pox. Oh, come on, at least carboil one of them. The Dark Master off. The Dragon of Prophecy will not stay in hiding any longer. Oh, no. He will itch with questions, and there is only one place he can go for answers. Pox. Oh, I know, the Dragon Temple. The goblins step up. Goblin 1, we will wait for him and grab him when the Dark Master off. No, you will return here and inform me of his arrival. By then, my pets will be ready. The red gem suddenly glows again, illuminating the shadow of the young dragon. It stumbles forward and steps into the light. It's black, glistening, awkward on its feet, and there's something feminine about it. It snarls like a rabid dog. Pox. Well, glad she's on our side. The goblins stand there staring at the monstrosity when Dark Master off. Now go. Do not fail me again. The black dragon suddenly opens its mouth and fills the room with black fire. The goblins turn and run. The Dark Master chuckles. Okay, so I can see that it's having its own creative liberties with the story as well as Cynder. It does indicate that she's breathing black fire, which is interesting because in the actual game, in A New Beginning, she actually breathes like poisonous fire. And in Dawn of the Dragon, she actually has like elements of her own, such as poison, fear, wind, and shadow. So this is pretty interesting. The Dark Master off continued. Yes, you will do nicely. The claw extends out of the darkness and pets the black dragon's back. Dark Master off continued. I shall name you after the fire's last gasp. I shall name you Cynder. Pox's eyes widen in delight. Pox, Cynder, brilliant. It works on so many different levels. I guess that's why they call you the Dark Master. The snake talk. It's so awkward. Why would... Okay, I know that it's because of his teeth, but does he really have to talk like that all the time? The black dragon Cynder lets out a monstrous roar, and we cut to, let's see, dark forest, early morning. Spyro wakes with a start. Spyro. What? Where am I? Spyro looks around and then remembers. Spyro continued. Oh, right. Still here. Still alone. He gets up and stretches. He looks at the rising sun, and his face brightens a bit. Maybe this isn't so bad after all. He picks up his sack, and Spyro continues. Okay, let's see what's on the menu for breakfast today. Maybe some sugar root, a couple of pull-in cakes, or... He reaches into his sack, but Spyro continued. Huh? He digs around inside, and then turns it upside down. Empty? Spyro continued. Where's all the stuff I packed? He sees them. Then he sees them. Little white spiders walking in a row, carrying away his food. Spyro continued. Hey, get back here. So like, are those the mushroom spiders from A New Beginning? Like, is the movie referencing that, or are they just random spiders? The spiders walk faster, squealing and squeaking as they go. Spyro gets up and chases them through the clearing towards a dark cave. The little white spiders disappear inside. Spyro stops. It's really dark in there. His stomach grumbles. He takes a deep breath, steels himself, and enters the cave. Inside the dark cave, continuous, Spyro looks around, squinting into the darkness. Spyro. Hello? Little spider thingies? I'd really appreciate if you gave my breakfast back. I'd be willing to share. Don't share your food with spiders. In fact, don't even go near a spider. Unless you want to kill it. 'Cause I would. He blinks his eyes, and they finally adjust to see the little white spiders crawling towards a huge white spider hanging from a web. It's got to be twice Spyro's size. Spyro continued. Ah! Spyro turns to run off, but runs right into another web. He's stuck. Spyro continued. What? Ah! Spyro frantically tries to free himself as the large white spider drops off his web and crawls towards him. He gets right in his face, and white spider, spoiled little kid's voice. Ooh, a dragon! I caught a dragon! Wait, what? Why does this remind me of Skylanders Academy when the Skylanders were captured by a bunch of fire vipers? This could not have predicted Academy. Or maybe it's just me. Calling off screen. Mommy, Daddy, I caught a dragon! Spyro's eyes widen in fear as two even bigger spiders crawl in. Mom Spider. A dragon? Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you, Dad Spider, skeptically. A dragon? Let me see that. The dad squints at Spyro. Dad Spider continued. Well, slaps on wings at me and call me a butterfly. It is a dragon. Good work, son. White Spider. Can I eat it now, Mommy? Huh? Can I? The dialogue is so stupid. It's so childish, Mom Spider. You already had your breakfast. Wrap it up and I'll make dragon burgers for lunch. The tiny spiders cheer from the ground. Spyro. Dragon burgers? Wait, come on. Look at me. There's not enough meat on me for dragon burgers. The white spider picks Spyro up, holds him to his mandibles, and starts spinning him around and around, cocooning him in a gooey web. Spyro continued. No, stop! Spyro's face is suddenly lost in the cocoon, cutting off his breath. He struggles for air as the rest of his head disappears under the web. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is another fetish part of the script that I have not heard of, honestly. and this is kind of making me uncomfortable, not gonna lie. And then the cocoon is complete. The white spider turns and starts carrying it off down a dark cavern when a torch appears, held by a cloaked figure. Cloaked figure, get back, beasts! The figure waves the torch at the giant spiders, making them shriek and recoil. Mom spider, ah, my eyes! Dad spider, oi, what are you trying to do, blind us? Are the spiders actually British? I'm sorry. I really need to do a different accent for these. The cloaked figure leaps in front of the white spider, waving the torch in its face. It recoils and drops the cocoon. White spider, Mummy! The figure suddenly pulls out a sword and slices the cocoon open. Spyro slides out, covered in glistening goo and barely conscious. Cloaked figure to Spyro. Come, little one. The cloaked figure drags Spyro out of the cave. The little spiders starts to cry like babies, and the mother and father spiders charge after him, chomping their mandibles and shooting webs at him. The figure suddenly spins around, raises a bow, and shoots an arrow at the ceiling of the cave. Crack. An avalanche of rubble breaks loose, trapping the spiders inside. Extend dark forest morning. The figure drags Spyro out of the cave and puts him down. Spyro limply scrambles to his feet, wiping the goo out of his eyes and backing away. Spyro, who are you? The figure lowers his cloak to reveal the proud face of a cheetah warrior. He smiles at Spyro with kind eyes. Wait, Hunter? Hunter's in this one? Okay, that's honestly something I didn't expect. I mean, he did appear in Dawn of the Dragon, but okay. Hunter. I am Hunter of the Cheetahs. It is an honor to meet you, great dragon of the prophecy. Wait, how does Hunter even know that Spyro is part of the prophecy? Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows. Spyro, confused. Great dragon of... what? Hunter stands up and looks at Spyro. Hunter, great dragon of prophecy. Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. Spyro blinks at him. Spyro, I'm sorry. I don't know what that is. Hunter looks up at him. Hunter, what? Is it possible you did not know? Has no one told you who you are? Spyro, who I am? I barely know what I am. Hunter shakes his head and stands up. Hunter, amazing. Someone whose destiny is so full of light, but is still so in the dark. Spyro, my destiny? Please, tell me what you know about me. Why did you call me a dragon of prophecy? Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. Spyro looks at him. Spyro continued. Why do you keep doing that? Why does he keep doing that? I mean, he doesn't have to do that every time someone says prophecy or whatever. Hunter stands back up. Hunter, I'm sorry. It is a custom of my people, a sign of respect when those words are spoken. Spyro, what words? Dragon of prophecy? Hunter dramatically drops to one knee and bows again. Spyro continued. You don't have to keep doing that. Can you just tell me what you know about me? Hunter stands up again. Hunter, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that is not my story to tell, little one. But I can tell you this. I have been searching these lands for you for a very long time. All the creatures have, the cheetahs, the mole people, the... Spyro in awe. Mole people? He gives Spyro a warm smile. Hunter, our allies under the ground. Rarely seen, but always there. Spyro looks down, amazed, as if he's expecting something to pop out of the ground at any moment. Hunter, it will be a great comfort to everyone to know you are still alive. The great dragon of... Hunter goes to drop one knee again, but Spyro stopping him. Okay, please, you don't have to keep doing that. Hunter stands back up. Hunter, sorry, old habits. Looks around. Come, we must get you to the temple of your ancestors. I only hope that we are not too late. Hunter puts his cloak back over his head and disappears into the woods. Spyro hesitates, still trying to process everything he's heard, then turns and follows. Dissolved to a blasted landscape afternoon. The terrain is beginning to change. Lots of charred trees and burnt bush. The ground is darker too, as if the dirt has been mixed with ash. Hunter emerges from the trees. Spyro follows behind, his eyes wide. Spyro, what happened here, Hunter? Hunter, these are dark times, little one. The land and its creatures have suffered much. Spyro, but why? Who did all of this? Hunter takes a deep breath. The one you have been hidden from. The evil one. the one they call... Suddenly, there's a rustling in the bushes. Hunter steps in front of Spyro, his bow suddenly in hand. Spyro, what is it? Hunter raises his hand to silence him. The rustling happens again. Hunter, whispering, stay here. Hunter puts an arrow in his bow and starts moving towards the bushes. Spyro holds his breath as Hunter steps closer and closer, and a ball of light suddenly bursts out of the trees. Is that... Spyro. Sparx? Sparx. Spyro, finally! I've been... Swat. Hunter suddenly swats Sparx out of the air. Sparx, continue. Oof! Sparx slams onto the ground. Sparx, continue. Hey, what's the big... Ah! Hunter raises a foot and is about to step on him when... Spyro. No, Hunter, no! He's my brother! Hunter freezes. Hunter. Your brother? Hunter looks at Sparx confused. Sparx shrugs and dusts himself off. Sparx. Well, brother from another mother. He flies back into the air and gives Hunter a look. Hunter, continue. So, who's the furball? Hunter narrows his eyes, insulted. Spyro. It's okay, Sparx. He's a friend. Sparx. A friend, huh? He flies right up to Hunter's face. Sparx. Well, listen up, friend. You swat me like that again, and I'll pull your whiskers right off. Got it, Meow Mix? Meow Mix? What the hell? Hunter glares at Spyro and requivers his arrow. Spyro looks at Sparx and smiles. Spyro. Sparx, you came after me. Sparx smiles back. Sparx. We are brothers, Spyro, no matter who our parents are. And that means you go on a dangerous journey, I go on a dangerous journey. Got it? Spyro grabs Sparx and gives him a hug. Spyro. Thanks, Sparx. Okay, I'll admit this right now. This is pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie. Sparx squirms out of his grip and straightens his antenna. Sparx. Hey, watch the antenna. You never know what kind of hot bugs we'll run into out here. Spyro laughs. Spyro. Yeah, like you'd be able to talk to them if we did. The most you've ever gotten now, and I quote, is Spyro makes the deer in headlights face Sparx made when he saw Glimmer. Spyro continued, impersonating Sparx. Blah! Sparx frowns. Sparx. I'll give you blah. He rushes at Spyro, but Hunter steps in front of him and Sparx bounces off his chest. Bonk. Sparx. Hey! Hunter, if we want to get to the temple before dark, we must make haste. Hunter turns and heads off. Spyro looks at Sparx. Spyro, I'm really glad you came. Sparx. Yeah, don't get all weepy on me. Spyro chuckles and they follow Hunter off. Sparx, continue. So what's the deal with this guy? I don't like cats. You ever see them clean themselves? They use their tongues. Disgusting. My OC, Melina the cat, would be very offended. Spyro, don't worry, Sparx. He was sent to find me, protect me. Sparx, you? Come on. Spyro, no, really, watch. I am, to Hunter, the great dragon of prophecy. Hunter immediately turns, drops to one knee and bows. Sparx looks at Spyro in awe. I feel like this is going to be something that's going to keep repeating in the entire movie. I'm not going to lie. Hunter, realizing he's being messed with, gives them a look. Hunter, I shall not fall for that one again. Dissolved to blasted landscape later that day. As the sun sets behind them, Spyro and Sparx follow Hunter through the blackened and scarred terrain. Sparx, Mom and Dad will be fine. I left them a note. Sparx blinks. Sparx continued. Actually, wait a minute. I meant to leave them a note. He shrugs. They'll be fine anyway. Spyro rolls his eyes. Sparx looks around at the bleak landscape. Sparx continued. Boy, this place could sure use a makeover. Huh? Maybe a couple of bushes here, a pond over there. Hunter. Quiet, Glowbug. Sparx. Glowbug? Who are you calling a glowbug? Furface? Hunter ignoring him. We are here. Hunter points to the Dragon Temple, looming in the distance. It's an ominous sight. Spyro gazes at it, his eyes wide. Spyro, that's where I came from? It's larger, more majestic than anything he's ever seen. Spyro stares at it, not sure how to feel, when Hunter begins to ascend a steep staircase carved in the rock. Dissolved to Dragon Temple Dusk. Hunter and Spyro emerge at the top of the staircase, close to the temple's stone entryway. From this close, it looks decrepit. I don't know how to pronounce that. Falling apart, like it's been abandoned for years. Sparx flies up behind them. Sparx, no offense, but your home is kind of a dump. Spyro gives Sparx a look. Sparx shrugs. Sparx continue. I said no offense. Spyro turns back to the temple and follows Hunter through a gap in the stone doors. Dragon Temple, continuous. The walls are cracked, the ceiling is caved in, and the floors are covered in debris. A few beams of sunlight stream in through the cracks, but otherwise it's dark. Spyro and Hunter enter, stepping through the rubble. Sparx flies beside them. Spyro, it doesn't look like anyone's been here for years. Hunter, we may be too late after all. Hunter shakes his head when Sparx, hey look, dragon graffiti. Sparx flies up to the wall, lighting it up with his glow to reveal carvings in the stone. It's an ancient fresco telling of a tale of dragons. Sparx continued, wow, if these are your ancestors, you are really due for a growth spurt. Spyro gazes up at the carvings. He sees noble dragons, proud dragons, strong dragons. They seem to stare back at him, stare into him, invoking feelings he's never felt before. Is this really what he is? What he's going to become? Spyro runs his fingers over the carvings, and then sees something at the end of the room. It looks like a nest of thatch lying in the rubble of a stone pedestal. Spyro approaches and picks it up. It's just big enough for an egg. Could it be? Suddenly, a booming voice shakes the room. Voice off. Who dares invade this sacred temple of the dragons? Spyro drops the nest and spins to face Sparx. Spyro, what was that? Sparx, I don't know, but I don't want to find out. Let's get out of here. They turn and charge for the door. Hunter, no way. Suddenly, an enormous red dragon drops in front of them. Spyro, Sparx. Ah! Spyro and Sparx dart around him and run out. The red dragon freezes, realizing something, and we see it's Ignitus. He looks much weaker than we last saw him. He sees Hunter and it suddenly dawns on him. He turns and starts after Spyro and Sparx. Ignitus, wait, come back. Ignitus flies out after them. Hunter follows. Dragon Temple staircase continuous. Spyro tears down the stone staircase as fast as he can. Sparx flies behind, trying to push him. Sparx, faster, faster! We're so stupid. What did we expect to find at the Dragon Temple? Suddenly, Ignitus flies into view beside them. Ignitus, stop, please. I mean you no harm. But Spyro and Sparx just keep charging down the steps. Sparx, yeah, right. Big, scary dragon scares you once, shame on him. Big, scary dragon scares you twice, and you're barbecue. Come on, Spyro, he's getting closer. Spyro and Sparx hit the bottom of the steps and take off into the bushes. Ignitus keeps after them. Dragon Temple, ruins around the temple, continuous. Spyro and Sparx charge through the ruins surrounding the temple. They tear through the bushes, duck under low branches, and dart around the sharp rocks. Ignitus chases behind them. Ignitus, you must listen to me. Spyro and Sparx look back. He's getting closer. Sparx grits its teeth and flutters over Spyro's back. Sparx, come on, Spyro, flap what your mama gave you. He grabs Spyro's wings and starts flapping them, but no dice. And then Sparx continue. Look out. Spyro looks and slip. He skids over a bed of loose rocks and Spyro, whoa, tumbles down a steep hill. Sparx tumbles with him and they both slide down. Sparx holding onto Spyro's wings for dear life and riding him like a toboggan. I have no idea what that is. Spyro, Sparx, wah! Whoosh. They slide faster and faster, Sparx doing his best to steer Spyro around the rocks and trees when crunch. They crash into a tree stump. Sparx, ow, I think I landed on my wings. Sparx flutters into the air and dusts himself off. Spyro pulls himself to his feet and looks around. Spyro, do you think we lost him? Ignitus suddenly drops out of the sky in front of them. Spyro, Sparx, yeah! Sparx jumps up. Sparx, let's get out of here. Spyro leaps to his feet, and they turn to flee when Hunter suddenly appears in front of them. Hunter, stop, he's not going to hurt you. He's the one who sent me to find you. Spyro and Sparx freeze. Spyro, what? Ignitus looks down at Spyro and smiles. Ignitus, welcome home, little one. Come, there is much to do. Whoosh. He blasts a thicket of trees with his fiery breath, and a path back to the temple is revealed. Ignitus starts it up. Spyro goes to follow, but Sparx flies in front of him. Sparx, whoa, are you crazy? You really want to go with this guy? Spyro, Sparx, I think I have to trust him. He's a dragon like me. Spyro starts after Ignitus. Sparx frowns and flutters after him, shaking his head. Okay, so I feel like this is where this part takes place in the new beginning, where even though Spyro and Sparx already ran into Ignitus like in the caves where they both found him, Ignitus does lead Spyro and Sparx to the temple to help Spyro figure out who he truly is. So yeah, I'll give the script props for at least staying a little bit faithful to a new beginning, but honestly that's not saying much because the script is still crap, okay? Can we all just agree? Because I feel like it's gonna get worse over time. Sparx to himself. Why couldn't he have found out he was an elf? They're supposed to be really mellow guys. They all head up the path when Hunter stops, sensing something. He turns and scans the ruins, but all is quiet. He shakes his head and follows the others up the path, right as he goes. The bushes part behind him, revealing Goblin number 1 and Goblin number 2. They smile at each other and run off, dissolve to Dragon Temple dusk. 2 massive stone doors creak open, and long shadows of Ignitus, Spyro, Sparx, and Hunter are cast on the floor. They make their way through the temple, their footsteps echoing off the walls. Ignitus casts a glance down at Spyro and smiles. Ignitus, I must say, you are a welcome sight for these tired eyes. I thought that you were lost for good. Spyro looks up at him. Spyro, who are you? How do you know me? Ignitus, I am Ignitus, the last of the guardian dragons. At one time, I cared for you when you were just an egg. Spyro looks up at Ignitus in awe. Sparx flutters up. Sparx to Ignitus, you have some identification? Spyro, Sparx? Sparx, no really, come on Spyro, how do we know this guy is who he says he is? Ignitus smiles at them. Ignitus, I see you have a good friend here, but I assure you, little Dragonfly, I can be trusted. I'm the one who brought your brother to your peaceful glen. Sparx and Spyro look at each other. Ignitus continued. I returned when I thought it was safe, but the Dragonflies were gone. Dragonflies are like that. They live the way they fly. Quick, elusive, and so very cautious, which is why finding them that night was so fortunate. Sparx narrows his eyes, not yet convinced. Ignitus smiles at Spyro. So, Spyro, is it? Very good. Come, there was so much to explain. Ignitus goes to lead them down a corridor. Spyro and Sparx follow him. Hunter stays by the door, peering outside. Ignitus continued. What is it? Hunter, just a feeling. Go, Ignitus. I will stay here and keep watch. Ignitus, thank you, Hunter, for everything. Know that the dragons are forever in your debt. Hunter nods to Ignitus and bows slightly to Spyro. Sparx gives him a look. Sparx, formally. And know that the Dragonflies are forever wondering why you don't have a sense of humor. Hunter does a slow boil. Spyro gives Sparx a look. Sparx continued. Hey, come on, the cat's gotta lighten up. Dragon Temple, Room of the Elders, continuous. Ignitus leads Spyro and Sparx into a sacred room in the center of the temple. Its rounded walls are covered with even more frescoes. Ignitus, this is where the elders recorded the history of dragonkind, a history in which you, young Spyro, play a very important part. It's probably referring to the fact that he's a purple dragon, which means, you know, he's the chosen one. Spyro's eyes widen. Sparx flies up close to one of the frescoes. Sparx, look at that! So much detail. Is that watercolor, or... Sparx goes to touch the fresco, but Ignitus, freeze! Sparx freezes in midair before the fresco. Ignitus continued. I am sorry, but I must insist that you be careful. These walls have withstood great battles, but I'm afraid time has begun to take its toll. Sparx, insulted. Okay, geez, give me a little credit. It's not like I was gonna break it or anything. Ignitus gives him a look and turns to a torch. He lights it with his fiery breath and steps up to the first panel. Angle on the panel. It's a beautiful painting of a pleasant landscape. A bright sun hangs over rolling hills. Dragons fill the sky. Ignitus. Like our dragonfly friends, we are peaceful creatures at heart. We move into the panel and it comes to life to tell the story of the dragons. Dragons fly gracefully through the sky, the tips of their wings touching the clouds. Ignitus, voiceover continued. That is before the rise of the dragon they call the Dark Master. Fire fills the sky, dragons fall. We hear a mighty roar and see two red eyes shine out of the dark clouds. Ignitus, voiceover continued. From the beginning, his powers were unmatched. He could have been one of the greatest defenders of these lands, but he chose a different path. Drawn to evil and destruction, he used his powers to wage war on all of dragonkind. The skies darken and we move down to see dragons fleeing across the landscape. Blasts of fire explode behind them, charring the earth. Ignitus, voiceover, continued. As his powers grew, he discovered new ways to spread his terror. He began to amass a dark army pulled from the deepest depths of the earth. The ground starts to crack and crumble, and monstrous beasts emerge from the dirt. Some look like the goblins, others are more twisted, winged. Like the elemental beasts that attack the temple, they stumble like zombies towards a dark mountain in the distance. So is that the mountain of Malefor from the Eternal Night? Ignitus, voiceover, continued. But the dark times were only beginning, for the Dark Master was about to make a terrible discovery. He learned of existence of a powerful crystal called the Life Gem that was said to be the source of all dragon magic. A red glow fills the screen and then focuses to reveal the large red gem we saw earlier. Ignitus, voiceover, continued. He realized that if he possessed this gem, he could make himself even more powerful by capturing the essences of all the dragons he slaughtered and storing them inside the Crimson Crystal. We push into the crystal to see the eddy of ghostly dragons swirling within. There must be hundreds of them, thousands. Ignitus continued. Every dragon that fell added to his might. His powers grew and grew until darkness began to spread across all the lands. We see the landscape going from green to black, trees withering, lush fields drying up into the desert. Dragons flee across the landscape. The shadow of an enormous dragon falls on them and then blasts. Fire rains down on them and then fills the screen. Ignitus continued. It was a time of great danger for crack. Suddenly the image starts to crumble and cut back to Dragon Temple Room of the Elders, where the entire wall of frescoes drops into a pile of rubble. Ignitus and Spyro spin to see Sparx frozen with a little piece of rubble in his hand. Sparx, whoops. Ignitus shakes his head. Sparx, continue. Don't worry, I can fix it. You have any glue? Ignitus does a slow burn. Spyro steps up with a confused expression. Spyro, Ignitus, I don't understand. What does all of that have to do with me? Ignitus, you, young Spyro, are the light in the darkness. In the year of the dragon, it was prophesied that a dragon would be born that would rise up and defeat the Dark Master. A purple dragon, possessing untold powers. Ignitus looks down at Spyro. Ignitus continued. You, young Spyro, are that purple dragon. Spyro looks up at Ignitus with wide eyes. Sparx bursts into hysterics. Sparx, him? You gotta be kidding me. He's scared of his own shadow, and I'll tell you a little secret. He can't fly 2 feet without falling on his butt. Ignitus turns to Sparx. Ignitus, until 2 moons ago, you thought he was a dragonfly. Imagine how he might surprise you tomorrow. Sparx stops laughing. Ignitus turns back to Spyro. Ignitus continued. We must begin at once. Ignitus turns and marches out of the room. Ignitus turns and marches out of the room, leaving Sparx and Spyro standing there in shocked silence. Dragon Temple hallway night. Ignitus hurries down a crumbling hallway, lighting torches as he goes. Spyro chases behind. Spyro, wait, begin what, Ignitus? Ignitus, your training. You have much to learn and very little time. Spyro, hold on, Sparx is right. I can't be the one the elders were talking about. I can't be this dragon of prophecy. Ignitus stops and turns to him. Ignitus, there is no question. Ignitus continues down the hall, lighting torches. Spyro rushes after him. Spyro, wait, why can't you go and fight the Dark Master yourself? You're so much bigger and stronger than I'll ever be. Ignitus, it is said that only the dragon of the prophecy can defeat the Dark Master. Ignitus looks down at him. Ignitus continued. And don't let my size deceive you. He stops and spreads his wings. They are thinning. Ignitus continued. My fire is nearly burnt out. This is your task, young Spyro. Your destiny. You are a very special dragon. Ignitus gives Spyro a smile and continues down the hallway. Spyro watches him for a moment, conflicted. And then... Spyro, I'm sorry, Ignitus. I can't do this. Ignitus stops. Spyro continued. I just wanted to find out who I was, what I was. What you're asking, it's just too much. Ignitus, I understand. Everyone must choose their own path. But before you go, I want to show you something. Ignitus turns to two stone doors. He pushes them open, revealing a dark, charred valley that gives way to a desert of soot. Soot? What's a soot? There's a line of smoke in the distance, as if from a fire that's constantly burning. Ignitus continued. With each passing moon, the desolation spreads further across the lands, and this is only the beginning. Spyro gazes out at the distant smoke. Sparx flies up. Sparx. Okay, well, like Spyro said, this has been great. It's so nice meeting family you never knew you had. Thanks for the story. We'll just let ourselves out, okay? Sparx goes to fly off. Spyro doesn't move. Sparx continued. Spyro, come on, remember what they said in class? Fight or flight. I'd say this is a prime example of when we should choose flight. Spyro, without turning. Sparx, look. Spyro points to the end of the line of smoke. Sparx. What is it? Spyro. I think that's the Glen. Sparx. The Glen? Spyro nods. Sparx squints, and then his eyes widen. The line of smoke is not far from the Silver River. Sparx blanches. Spyro turns to Ignitus. Spyro, this really isn't going to end? Ignitus shakes his head. Spyro continued. And you're sure I'm the only one who can stop it? Ignitus nods. Spyro looks out at the dark landscape and seems to steel himself. Spyro continued. Then I at least have to try. Sparx's eyes widen. Sparx. What? Spyro, are you out of your little purple mind? Sparx. Dragonflies choose flight. But I'm a dragon. It's not that simple anymore. Ignitus gives Spyro a look of pride and descends a stone staircase. At the end of the hallway, Sparx rolls his eyes. Sparx. Sheesh. Tell a guy he's a dragon and it goes straight to his head. Sparx shakes his head and flies after them. Dissolved to Dragon Temple Training Area, night. The room is pitch black until whoosh. A burst of fire ignites a cluster of torches dangling from the ceiling like a chandelier? I don't know what that says. Spyro and Sparx look around in awe. Spyro, whoa. It's like a dojo for dragons. Charred targets hang from the ceiling. The walls are studded with ivory perches. Wooden training statues are scattered throughout in the shape of the goblins, elemental beasts, and all sorts of wicked creatures. And floating in the air is a row of crystal orbs, dozens of them, each containing a different element: fire, water, lightning, and wind, and more. So I think this is probably what I'm referring to when this movie is taking creative liberties. As the games actually have like fire, electricity, ice, and earth, but I guess it's just fire, water, lightning, and wind. So I guess there are more than 4 elements, I guess. I don't know. Ignitus. For centuries, dragons have mastered the powers in this very room. I, myself, found my fire here. Spyro notices the floating orbs. Spyro. What are those, Ignitus? Those are the dragon magics. Each dragon possesses a magic unique to themselves. I was blessed with fire. Others are masters of ice, wind, and lightning. There are so many. Spyro. So I guess I'm like you? My magic is fire? Ignitus. Well, yes and no. You see, the Dragon of Prophecy is said to be an exception. You, young Spyro, possess the potential for all the dragon magics. Spyro. All of them? But I've only done fire once, and that was an accident. Now I have to learn ice and wind? Sparx flies up. Sparx. You've already got wind down. You mastered that one the first time you ate bug beans, remember? Blew me right out of the blue room. Is that a fart joke? This is what I mean when I say the writing in this movie is childish. Like, do we need fart jokes in movies like this? Like, are fart jokes the only way to make kids laugh? Let alone the audience? because it's already not making me laugh. That's how you know this movie failed. Spyro stands there shaking his head. Ignitus puts his hand on his shoulder. Ignitus, do not worry, young Spyro. Mastery will come with time. Dissolve to training montage. I'm already not liking where this is going. I'm actually nervous. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're gonna try to push through this and hopefully not run into anything uncomfortable. Let's go. Spyro and Ignitus stand under the floating orb filled with fire. Sparx flutters behind them. Ignitus, fire, the most elemental of the dragon magics. I want you to focus on the flames and then close your eyes. Spyro stares intently at the flames within the orb and then closes his eyes. Ignitus continued. Do you still see them in your mind? Spyro, I think so. Ignitus, good. Now I want you to try and feel something more. Ignitus continued. Feel the blood of your ancestors coursing through your veins. As the dragon of prophecy, every dragon that came before you is a part of who you are, young Spyro. You must listen to them. Let them show you the way. Spyro concentrates harder, trying to feel it. Ignitus takes him by the shoulders and turns him towards a goblin training statue. Ignitus continued. Reach out for the fire that so many of them possessed. Feel the flames, tap into them, and then bring them forth. Spyro clenches, inhales, and Spyro, roar! Poof! A small puff of smoke drips out of his mouth. Spyro blinks at it. Sparx breaks into hysterics. Sparx, he said, listen to your ancestors, Spyro, not send them smoke signals. Spyro sags and we cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro stands on an ivory perch high up on the wall. Ignitus and Sparx flutter before him in the air. Ignitus, flying. No matter what you've experienced, you can fly, Spyro. It is your mind, not your body, that is holding you back. Sparx, you sure about that, Big Red? Because his wings are puny, but his butt is huge. Spyro looks over the edge of the perch, scared. Ignitus, ignoring Sparx. Now put aside your fears and trust in what you are. Spyro, alright, here it goes. Spyro flaps his wings, jumps off the perch, and flutters there in the air. Spyro continued. Hey, look, I'm doing it. But then crash, he drops out of the frame. Sparx gives Ignitus a look. Sparx, you sure you're certified for this? Cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro and Ignitus stand under the floating orb filled with ice. Sparx flutters behind them. Ignitus, close your eyes and this time, let in the cold. Sparx, aren't there any fun dragon powers, like the power of making delicious sandwiches? Ignoring Sparx, Spyro closes his eyes and concentrates. He suddenly shivers. Spyro, I can feel it. I feel the cold. Ignitus takes Spyro by the shoulders and turns him towards an elemental beast training statue. Ignitus, let it consume you. Reach into the deepest depths of ice and bring it forth. Spyro clenches, inhales, and Spyro, roar! Tink. A small ice cube drops out of his mouth. Sparx breaks into hysterics. Sparx, yeah, now we can make iced tea. Sparx laughs so hard he almost shakes himself off with the perch. Spyro gives Sparx a look and then suddenly winces. Spyro, ow, brain freeze! Spyro grabs his head and runs out of the frame. Cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro stands on another ivory perch. Ignitus and Sparx flutter before him. Ignitus, do not think, Spyro. Just fly. Spyro jumps off the perch, flutters in the air for a moment, and then drops out of frame again. Cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro and Ignitus now stand under the floating orb filled with lightning. Ignitus continued. They say lightning is the most chaotic of the magics, but also the most powerful. Spyro looked up at the orb. Ignitus continued. Tap into the intangible, young Spyro. Into the power of nature's fury. Spyro closes his eyes and really concentrates. Spyro, I can feel it. I can roar! Spyro spins to face the target on the wall, opens his mouth, and pop. A tiny spark crackles on his tongue. Sparx, you call that lightning? I generate more current when I fart. Really? Ugh. Okay, I really thought Sparx from The Eternal Night was really awful. I thought he was annoying in the first two Legend games, I'm not gonna lie. But I really didn't think he'd get any worse before this script came out. Like, he's really annoying, and he's not funny at all, especially the fart jokes, okay? Okay, if they're not making me laugh, that's how you know you failed. Sparx explodes into hysterics. Spyro spins to face him. Spyro, you know what, Sparx? Why don't you just shut up? Yeah, you tell him, Spyro. He needs to stop being annoying. Bzzz, a bolt of lightning suddenly explodes out of Spyro's mouth and hits Sparx. Sparx, yeah! Sparx's dragonfly glow flickers and then blinks off. Yeah, serves him right. Sparx continued. Hey, what did you do? Spyro's eyes widen. Spyro, Ignitus, I did it. Ignitus, good, Spyro. Now, quickly, from that same place, cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro and Ignitus stand before a row of training dummies. Ignitus, you're fire. Spyro closes his eyes, inhales, and Spyro, roar! Crackle. A small flame shoots out of his mouth, stinging the head of the wooden goblin. Ignitus, excellent. Now ice. Cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro stands before another statue and whoosh, a tiny stream of ice shoots out of his mouth, coating the statue in ice. Ignitus, yes, that's it. Now cut to another part of the dojo. Spyro again stands on the ivory perch. Ignitus flaps in front of him. Ignitus, fly, Spyro, fly. Spyro flaps his wings, leaps off the perch, and drops out of frame with a crash. Ignitus winces. Is the entire movie gonna revolve around Spyro attempting to fly and constantly failing? Because I feel like that's a recurring theme of this movie. Ignitus continued. Perhaps that is enough for today. Ignitus flies out of frame, revealing Sparx fluttering there, his lights still out. Sparx, hey, is someone gonna turn me back on or what? Come on, this isn't funny. Sparx flies out of frame, and we move towards a crack in the wall, beyond which we can see the darkening night. Dissolved to Mountain of Malefor, Room of Shadows, Night. The black dragon Cynder kneels in the center of the room. She is much larger now, strong and monstrous. The red eyes of the Dark Master gleam in the darkness before her. Dark Master, off. It is time for you to spread your wings, my pet. Go to the temple and end this foolishness once and for all. Then you and I will rule these dark lands together. Pox winks down from his perch. Pox, you and her? What about me? What about us? The Dark Master growls. Pox cowers. Pox continued. Okay, sure. We'll all be one big happy family. I'm cool with that. Cynder bows before the red eyes of the Dark Master. Cynder, raspy snarling. I will not fail you, my master. Cynder rises to her feet, extends her black wings, and flaps out of the room. Pox watches her go and sighs. Pox, boy, I wish I was bigger. Dissolved to Dragon Temple, morning. The sun rises over the ancient temple of the dragons. Dragon Temple, room of the elders, morning. Ignitus, Spyro, and Sparx sit on the floor, munching on a meal of twigs and berries. Hunter stands by the door, still peering out at the scarred countryside. Spyro, I don't know, Ignitus, so I can freeze a statue and turn a dragonfly's lights out. You really think that's gonna be enough to defeat the biggest, meanest dragon of all time? Ignitus, everything has a beginning, young Spyro. The important thing is for you to believe, truly believe in what you are. Only then will you fully tap into the power of your ancestors. Spyro takes this in and nods. Sparx pops a twig in his mouth and grimaces. Sparx, hey Big Red, can I ask you a really, really important question? Ignitus, of course. You got any salt? Ignitus gives Spyro a look. Sparx continued. Okay, geez, I just thought I'd ask. Spyro pops another twig in his mouth and forces it down. Ignitus turns to Hunter by the door. Ignitus, Hunter, you have been on alert all night. Come, have something to eat. We are safe here. Hunter, I just cannot shake this feeling, Ignitus. Hunter scans the countryside one more time, and then sits down next to Sparx. He picks up a small bowl of milk and begins to lap at it like a cat. So is it gonna have actual cat instincts or something? Sparx to Spyro, Soto. See, I told you. Disgusting. Disgusting! Spyro smiles when, boom, the room suddenly shakes. Sparx continued. What was that? Ignitus and Hunter leap to their feet when, boom, the room shakes again and the wall behind them starts to crumble. Spyro, Ignitus, what's happening? Crash. A battering ram suddenly bursts through the wall and an army of goblins charges in with axes and clubs. Ignitus. Spyro, get back. Spyro jumps back and Ignitus swings his tail, sweeping the first line of goblins right back out through the wall. But a whole new line instantly takes their place. Ignitus continued. Hunter, you must get Spyro to safety. Sparx. And Sparx too. Ignitus to Spyro and Sparx. Stay behind me, both of you. Whoosh. Ignitus blasts the goblins with a burst of fire and charges for the door. Hunter, Spyro, and Sparx follow, but a group of goblins leap in front of them. Sparx. This doesn't look like safety to me. Hunter pulls out his sword and goes to work. He fights the goblins back, lopping off the tops of their clubs and shattering their axes, but more keep coming. A few leap onto Ignitus's back. Ignitus twists and thrashes, trying to shake them off. Off, demons! He somersaults forward, launching them into the wall. Bonk, bonk. Then something catches his eye, and Ignitus continued. Spyro, duck! Spyro ducks, and whoosh! Ignitus releases a torrent of fire over his head. A cluster of goblins behind Spyro go screaming out of the room, their butts on fire. Spyro pulls himself to his feet and sees dozens and dozens more goblins swarming into the room. Spyro. They're everywhere! A pack of them suddenly jump into Ignitus's neck. He wrestles with them when Spyro continued. Ignitus, look out! A goblin is at Ignitus's tail, raising an axe. Spyro suddenly charges, and Spyro continued. Rawr! He shoots a small stream of fire at the goblin, setting his hide on fire. The goblin shrieks and runs off. Sparx. Hey, look at that! Score 1 for grape juice. Ignitus. Good, Spyro. Noticing something. Behind you. Spyro turns, and 3 more goblins are charging towards him, their clubs raised. Spyro takes a deep breath and tink, 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 shoots a barrage of ice cubes at them. Goblin number 4. Ow, 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 ow! The goblins cover their heads and run off. Spyro smiles when 2 more goblins grab him from behind. He tries to fire on them, but they clamp his snout closed. Goblin number 5. Nice try. Spyro struggles, takes a deep breath, and zzz. A field of electricity surges around him. Goblin 6. Ow! Goblin 5 and Goblin 6 are thrown off, as if zapped by a stun gun. Spyro pulls himself to his feet when a rope goes over his neck. Spyro. Hey! And then another rope lassos him, and another. 3 goblins drop from the ceiling with the ends of the ropes. Spyro tries to shoot fire on them, but the goblins tug on the ropes, jerking him back and forth. They start to pull him off when, from out of nowhere, Sparx. Rawr! Sparx suddenly charges up with a stick, screaming at the top of his lungs. Smack, 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 smack. He goes from the goblin to another, hitting them in their faces. Sparx continued. You like that? How about this? He darts behind them and then thunk, thunk, thunk. He hits them over their heads. Sparx continued. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He keeps hitting them until they screech and drop their ropes and run off. Sparx continued. Frothing. Anyone else want a piece of me? Come on. Spyro can't believe his eyes. Spyro. Sparx, that was amazing. Sparx, as if coming out of a trance. What? What happened? Did I just black out? He notices the stick in his hand and sees the goblins all around him. Sparx continued. What am I doing? Let's get out of here. Flight, Spyro. Remember? Flight. Sparx flies off. Spyro runs after him and up to Ignitus, who's just dispatching with the goblins on his neck. But there's still more flooding into the room. Ignitus. There are too many. Hunter, come on. Hunter turns and leaps onto Ignitus's back, and they all flee through a shattered opening in the crumbled wall. Dragon Temple, day. Spyro charges down the temple stairs. Sparx flies by his side, terrified. Sparx. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Goblins start popping up all around them, and Ignitus, flying with Hunter on his back, does his best to blast them away. Blast, blast, blast. Ignitus to Spyro and Sparx. Go, don't stop. Spyro and Sparx flee down the stairs and into the nearby forest, but then Spyro, oh no! Spyro just catches himself before he runs off a cliff. He looks over the edge. It's deep ravine that looks like it goes forever. Spyro teeters on the edge as Sparx flies past him. Sparx, come on Spyro, fly! Spyro, what? You know I can't! Ignitus takes to the air with Hunter on his back and swoops around to face Spyro. Ignitus, you can, and you must. You are a dragon. Spyro looks back. The goblins are closing in on him. He looks over the edge of the ravine. Or is it a ravine? It's now or never. Ignitus continued. Listen, Spyro. Listen to the blood of your ancestors. Let them lift you up. Spyro closes his eyes, trying to listen. Ignitus continued. Now fly, dragon, fly! Spyro takes a few steps and leaps off the edge of the cliff. He floats there in the air for a moment as if the whole world was slowed down, and then his little wings start flapping. He stays aloft. It's jerky and awkward, but Spyro, I'm doing it! I'm doing it! Sparx suddenly appears beside him. Sparx, look at that! Fat Boy can actually fly. Spyro, can you believe it, Sparx? I'm flying! I'm actually flying! It feels amazing! Spyro flaps his wings and climbs higher in the air. He shoots through the clouds, a broad smile on his face, when, rawr, an enormous black shape appears before him. It's probably Cynder. Spyro continued. Ah, it's Cynder. Yep, called it. Spyro tries to put on the brakes, but he hasn't learned how to do that yet. Cynder swoops towards him and reaches out with her talons. Talons? I don't know. But then she suddenly stops. She hangs there in the air, staring at Spyro. A light seems to come on in her eyes that we haven't seen before. Spyro sees it too. He's stunned. They float there, staring at each other, when Ignitus, rawr! Ignitus suddenly appears out of nowhere, slamming Cynder away. Ignitus continued, get back, beast! Cynder rolls, but then rights herself and spins back around. Blast! She fires. Ignitus dodges, but Cynder is upon him. She tackles him. They grapple in the air, and Hunter falls off Ignitus's back. Spyro, Hunter! Ignitus goes to dive after him, but can't get out of Cynder's grasp. Spyro watches Hunter fall through the air without thinking, suddenly drops his wings and goes into a dive. He races after him and swoop! He snatches him right before he hits the ground. Hunter, shocked. Young one. Spyro flies wildly through the sky with Hunter hanging upside down. They finally land safely on the ground, and Hunter gives Spyro a look of shocked gratitude. Hunter continued, you deserve every bow. Spyro's knees weaken, shocked at his own performance. Then he hears a roar and looks up to see Ignitus still facing off with Cynder in the air. Blast! Ignitus blasts her wing, but Cynder is strong and quickly fires back. Blast, blast, blast! Her black fire hits Ignitus in the chest, throwing him backwards in the air. Before he can recover, Cynder sends an explosive stream of black fire at him. Whoosh! Ignitus roars in pain and goes limp in midair. He starts falling from the sky. Spyro, Ignitus! Ignitus falls and falls until slam. He hits the ground, shaking the earth. Spyro, Hunter, and Sparx rush to his side. Sparx, Big Red? Spyro, Ignitus, are you okay? Ignitus turns to them, his eyes unable to focus. Ignitus, weak. Spyro. Spyro grabs him and tries to help him to his feet. Spyro, Ignitus, get up! We have to get out of here. The Dark Master. Ignitus, weak. No, that is not the Dark Master. It is only his apprentice. Spyro, what? Spyro looks up to see Cynder dropping down behind them. Spyro continued, it doesn't matter. We have to get out of here now. Ignitus weakly raises his head and looks at Spyro. Ignitus, weak. Spyro, you must believe. Believe in what you are and let your ancestors show you the way. Only then will you fulfill your destiny. I'm done. I'm sorry. Ignitus gives Spyro one last look and then starts to fade away. His thick, leathery hide is becoming translucent. Spyro's eyes widen in horror. Top 10 anime deaths. Can we have a moment of silence for Ignitus? He's dead. Again. Spyro, what's happening? Ignitus? Ignitus's deep red color flows out of his body and streams into the sky. And then he's gone. Spyro continued, devastated. Ignitus. Spyro stares at the patch of the ground where Ignitus once lay, and then an evil cackle rises behind him. Cynder off, cackling. And now, to finish this once and for all, Spyro, Hunter, and Sparx turn to see Cynder stalking towards them. Cynder continued, say goodbye, Dragon of the Prophecy. Cynder clenches, inhales, and suddenly, the ground beneath Spyro, Hunter, and Sparx gives away, swallowing them into the earth. Cynder's black fire just misses them, and when the dust settles, they're gone, and the earth is again intact. Cynder rushes to the spot where they were standing. It's solid. Cynder continued, what? She stomps her feet, and Cynder continued, roaring in rage. Roar! She blows a torrent of black fire into the sky. Cut to underground continuous. We are pulled through the dirt with Spyro, Hunter, and Sparx. Roots and rocks shoot by us as we're dragged deeper and deeper into the earth. Sparx as he's pulled. Spyro, what's going on? Suddenly, a light appears at the end of the tunnel, and thump, thump, thump. Spyro, Sparx, and Hunter drop into a soft bed of mud and moss. Scurrying sounds are heard, and little yellow eyes appear all around them. Spyro, scared. Hunter? Hunter squints into the darkness. Hunter, Mole-Yair? A short, mole-like creature with squinty eyes steps into the light and wriggles his nose at Hunter. Wait, Mole-Yair's in this one? Okay, I didn't expect that, but okay. It's getting good, not gonna lie. Mole-Yair, Hunter, thank goodness we got you in time, old friend. Where's Ignitus? Hunter looks down and solemnly shakes his head. Hunter, it was the black minion of the Dark Master. That's racist, dude. She was too much for him. Mole-Yair, incredulous. What? It's not possible. The great Ignitus? Fallen? Mole-Yair drops his head and more mole people step into the light around him. They exchange solemn looks. Mole-Yair continued. We came as soon as we felt the movements of the earth. It is our fault. We should have been swifter. We should have... Mole-Yair trails off, suddenly noticing Spyro. Mole-Yair continued. Is this? Hunter nods. Mole-Yair and the moles brighten. Mole-Yair continued. Then perhaps all is not yet lost. To the other moles. Moles, behold, the great dragon of the prophecy. Spyro looks around to see all the moles looking at him with hope in their eyes. Hunter gets down on one knee and addresses Spyro more intimately. Hunter, I can only imagine what you are feeling right now, young one, but the loss of Ignitus cannot prevent you from fulfilling your destiny. It is up to you now. It is up to you to save us all. Spyro looks at Hunter, looks at all the moles, and cut to underground tunnels of the mole people. Beat later. Spyro rushes through the tunnel. Sparx chases after him. Sparx. Spyro, stop! Come on, wait up! Spyro stops, and Spyro catches up out of breath. Sparx continued. Where are you going? Spyro. There still may be time to get back to the Glen. We can warn Mom and Dad. We can hide and... Sparx flies in front of him. Sparx. The Glen? Don't you remember? If the Dark Master gets his way, there's not going to be any Glens anymore. There's just going to be darkness. Spyro. There's nothing I can do about it, Sparx. Ignitus was right. I'm not ready. And now that he's gone, I'll never be. There's nothing left to do but leave, run, get as far away from here as possible. Spyro turns to run down the tunnel. Sparx stops him. Sparx. Spyro, you don't have that choice anymore. Spyro gives Sparx a searching look. Spyro. What? What are you talking about? Sparx. Remember, you're not a dragonfly, Spyro. You're a dragon, and dragons don't have a choice. They fight. Spyro looks at him, taking this in, and then looks away. Spyro. But even if I wanted to, I can't do it alone. Sparx. You don't have to. I will fight with you. Spyro looks at Sparx, taken by his suddenly bravery, and then Mole-Yair off. As will we. Spyro turns to see Mole-Yair and the entire mole tribe standing behind him with packs and axes. And then Hunter off. And the cheetahs are already on their way, 10,000 strong. Spyro turns again to see Hunter standing behind him, his sword unsheathed. Hunter, continue. We will all fight by your side, great dragon of prophecy. Well, I guess the moral of the story is, all your problems will be solved with the power of friendship and teamwork, because, you know, kids movie. Hunter bows, and everyone bows with him, even Sparx. Spyro looks at the room full of his new allies. It is an awesome sight. He takes a deep breath. The choice has been made. Dissolve to Mountain of Malefor, Room of Shadows, Dawn. The red eyes of the Dark Master stare at the life gem as the red essence of Ignitus flows into it. Dark Master off. Is that the mighty guardian Ignitus I see? The gem suddenly pulses, illuminating the silhouettes of the ghostly dragons inside. Dark Master off. Continue. Yes, his fire will serve me well. There's a flutter of wings and Cynder appears inside the chamber. The red eyes turn on her and narrow. Dark Master off. Continue. Why have you returned? I had sensed your errand is not yet complete. Cynder bows down before him. Cynder. I do not know what happened, Master. Some form of magic came to his aid and... Dark Master off. You... failed me? Cynder steps back, terrified. Cynder. I am sorry, my lord. Boom! A blast of purple energy suddenly explodes out of the darkness and knocks Cynder back. Dark Master off, booming. Is there no creature capable of doing my bidding? Boom! Another blast of purple fire slams into Cynder, and boom! Another blast of purple fire slams into Cynder, and she begins to shrink. So, like, is Malefor uncorrupting Cynder or something? Dark Master off, continue. Even you, who I nurtured, who I created. Boom! The Dark Master blasts her again, and Cynder writhes on the ground and shrinks some more. Her mighty black mass is becoming smaller and smaller, until all that remains is a young black dragon about Spyro size. She shudders on the ground when a shadow falls on her and the Dark Master finally steps out of the darkness. He's massive, monolithic, bulging with muscle and sinew, and he's purple, just like Spyro. He turns his red eyes on little Cynder and shakes his head. Dark Master, continue. What a disappointment you turned out to be. Okay, that got dark very quickly. He inhales and is about to give her one final blast when Pox off. Master! The Dark Master stops and turns to see Pox fluttering in the window. Pox, continue. You should see this. The Dark Master turns to the chamber window to see what looks like a great army on the horizon. Moles, cheetahs, and the silhouette of a small dragon leading them. The Dark Master narrows his eyes. Dark Master, so it shall be. He picks up the life gem, hangs it around his neck with a chain, and flies out of the room with an earth-shattering flutter of wings. Exterior. The mountain of Malefor, night. A red sun rises over the Black Mountain castle. Herds of elemental beasts and legions of goblins occupy a sprawling encampment surrounding the fortress like an army laying in wait. Suddenly, the Dark Master bursts from the highest tower and alights on a lower parapet? I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. The goblins and elemental beasts seem to gasp collectively. The Dark Master, goblins, beasts, loyal legions, and the servers of darkness. The dawn of eternal night is upon us. Oh, so is he referencing the eternal night? Today we fight our final battle, and tomorrow these lands belong to us. The beasts screech with delight and wave their clubs and maces. Dark Master continued. Now go, show them the folly of their hope. The goblins and elemental beasts let out a guttural battle cry and charged towards the approaching army. We zoom across the field to see Spyro wearing a golden battle helmet, hovering at the head of the army of the moles and cheetahs. Oh, is this a reference to the armor from Spyro Dawn of the Dragon? Because that's actually interesting. Not gonna lie. His eyes widen at the sight of the Dark Master's beast charging towards him. He tries to steal himself. Beside him, Sparx, wearing his own little battle helmet, gulps. Sparx, hey, you know something? I think I might have let the campfire on. I better go check. Sparx goes to fly off, but Spyro grabs him and turns back around. He sets his jaw and suddenly kicks off and takes to the sky. Hunter and Mole-Yair take off beside him, and the cheetahs and the molemen charge. The two armies get closer and closer and closer and clash. They meet with a clatter of metal against metal. Cheetah warriors throw their spears and swing their swords. Molemen scatter with their picks and axes. The battle has begun. A huge elemental beast picks up a cheetah when Hunter leaps onto his back and knocks him out. He helps the other cheetah up, and the two charge back into battle. Mole-Yair and the two other molemen charge towards a row of goblins. The goblins snicker, raises their maces, and swipe. Mole-Yair and the moles suddenly dive into the ground and create a hole in the earth. Before they know it, the goblins fall in and are buried up to their necks. Up in the air, Spyro and Sparx hover over the battle. Spyro sees two elemental beasts overcoming a cheetah warrior. He looks at Sparx. Sparx nods. Sparx continued. Bring it. Spyro grits his teeth and dives towards the battlefield. He flies behind the elemental beasts and closes his eyes. Spyro to himself. Okay, reach for the fire. Reach for the fire. Reach for the... He inhales and blasts. The elemental beasts are blown backwards. He hit the ground and burst into bits. Spyro continued. Yeah! Sparx pumps his fist. Sparx. Woohoo! Now that's what I call a barbecue. Nice one, Grape Juice. Spyro smiles and turns back to the battle. He sees four goblins chasing a group of molemen. He narrows his eyes and dives towards them. Spyro, hey, is it hot out here or is it just you? He inhales and poof. He only makes a puff of smoke. The goblins grin. They raise their maces when they suddenly disappear from view. Spyro looks down to see Mole-Yair burying them in a big hole. Alright guys, so thankfully we are almost at the end of the script. We got like 10 pages left, so let's keep moving forward. Let's brace ourselves. Let's see what we got. Spyro continued. Thanks, Mole-Yair. Mole-Yair, there are more of them. He points. Spyro turns and sees a dozen more goblins closing in. Spyro, uh-oh, thinking fast. There's a blizzard inside me. There's a blizzard inside me. There's a blizzard inside me. He inhales and blasts, shoots a torrent of ice, freezing the goblins in place just before they clobber him. Spyro continued. Yeah! Sparx flies up. Sparx, may I? Spyro, sure. Tink. Sparx taps the frozen goblins with a stick and they shatter. Spyro continued. Thanks, Slam. From out of nowhere, Pox lands on Spyro's head and slaps his wings over his eyes, sending Spyro into a tailspin. Spyro continued. Whoa! Pox, you like that? Then you're gonna love these. Pox bares his fangs and is about to bite Spyro on the neck when Sparx, off. Hey, Batbrain, why don't you pick on someone your own size? Bam! Sparx suddenly flies into the frame and knocks Pox off Spyro. Sparx continued. I got this one, Spyro. Spyro, thanks, Sparx. Spyro flies off and blasts more goblins with his fire and ice. Sparx and Pox face off in midair. Pox, what are you supposed to be, a firefly? Sparx, you want to know what I am? I'm your worst nightmare. Bam! Sparx punches Pox in the eye. Pox, ow! Hey! I wasn't ready yet. Bam, bam, bam. Sparx hits him 3 more times. Sparx continued. Ow, ow, ow. That's it. You're asking for it. Sparx opens his fangs and dive bombs Sparx. Sparx casually flies to the side and thunk. Pox slams into a tree stump. He goes to pull himself off, but his fangs are stuck. Pox continued. Hey, that's not fair. Sparx chuckles and flies off. He catches back up with Spyro as he's taking down more goblins. Spyro, hey Sparx, let's see what else is inside me. Spyro turns and zooms towards a gang of elemental beasts flying after some cheetahs. He swoops down, inhales, and Spyro continued. Rawr! Zzz! Bolts of lightning shoot out of his mouth, shocking the beasts. They shudder and kneel over. Spyro continued. Yeah, 3 more come at him, their maces raised. Spyro closes his eyes, inhales, and shoosh! A gust of wind rushes out of him, blowing the elemental beasts, plus 10 more behind him, across the battlefield. Spyro continued. Now that was cool. Mole-Men and cheetahs cheer. Spyro looks around. They now outnumber the goblins and elemental beasts. They're doing it. They're actually... Dark Master, booming. Enough! The Dark Master suddenly drops from the sky and appears before Spyro. Spyro's eyes widen in horror at the enormous purple dragon hanging in the air before him. Sparx, in shock. Spyro, he's purple, like you! Spyro hovers in the air, gaping at the Dark Master. The Dark Master gives him an amused smile. Dark Master, well, what are you waiting for? Didn't you come here to destroy me? Isn't that your destiny? Blast. The Dark Master shoots a breath of purple fire at Spyro, but Spyro dodges. Spyro, that's right, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Blast! Spyro shoots a torrent of ice at the Dark Master. It coats his enormous wings, freezing them in place. Spyro beams, but the Dark Master looks back and easily shrugs off the ice. Spyro continued. Uh-oh. The Dark Master's tail suddenly comes out of nowhere and whips Spyro. Spyro continued. Whoa! He goes tumbling through the air. He finally rights himself and whoosh, unleashes a powerful blast of fire at the Dark Master. Dark Master, surprise. Rah! The Dark Master is blown back and Spyro flies after him and continues his attack. Zap! A bolt of lightning. Whoosh! A blast of wind. Boom! Another blast of fire. The Dark Master flounders, falls back, and drops towards the ground. Sparx and the rest of the creatures hold their breaths. Is this the end? Sparx, he's doing it! He's doing it! Spyro flies after the Dark Master, blasting him as fast as he can. Zap! Whoosh! Boom! He tries to close in on him, but the Dark Master, roar! The Dark Master spins and backhands him with his wing. Spyro flies back, tumbling through the sky, and then it happens so fast, the Dark Master is suddenly upon him, blasting with ferocity we've never seen. Boom, 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 over and over in unending bursts of purple fire. Spyro is blown back and forth in midair. Boom, 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 it's too much for him. He's engulfed by the fire. He drops from the sky and falls lifelessly to the ground. Sparx gasps. Hunter and Mole-Yair turn. The Dark Master cackles and lands before Spyro. Well, Spyro's dead. Dark Master, I've spent years searching these lands for you. And now that you lie before me, I realize what a waste it's been. Spyro squints up at the Dark Master and sees the life gem hanging around his neck. The ghostly silhouettes of the fallen dragons swirl inside. And then Spyro sees his own reflection cast on the face of the gem. It's almost as if he's right there among the generations of dragons that came before him. They swirl past him, and is that Ignitus? As he passes. Ignitus, voiceover inside the gem. Believe. You must believe. A new look comes into Spyro's eyes as the Dark Master inhales and prepares to deliver his final blow. The Dark Master, you are not the dragon of prophecy. You're barely even a dragon. Boom! The Dark Master unloads his breath of fire, but Spyro rolls out of the way just in time. He leaps into the air and flaps defiantly before the Dark Master. Spyro, you're wrong. I am the dragon of prophecy. The blood of my ancestors courses through my veins. I can finally feel it. And now, so will you. Spyro inhales and blast. A volcano of fire suddenly explodes from his mouth. A purple and pulsing with energy, it blows the Dark Master back and engulfs the life gem on his chest. The gem seems to absorb the flames for a moment and then kaboom! It shatters in a flash of blinding light. The world is silent as the Dark Master hangs there in the sky, his eyes wide, and then he starts to disappear. He fades into the harsh light, and then he's gone. Spyro watches as the sky starts to dim and the pieces of the gem start to come back together in the air. The shards reassemble themselves and the life gem glows one more time and then plunges itself to the ground, shaking the earth. Pox pulls his teeth out of the stump and then flaps into the air. Pox, Master, wait for me! Pox zooms into the ground after the gem. The world quakes around him and then settles. Spyro looks around, squinting through the fog and smoke, and sees the goblins and the elemental beasts sinking back into the ground. They whine as their bodies turn back to the dirt and mud and fall to pieces. A strong wind picks up around Spyro and the clouds start to part. The sky clears and brightens and the blackened earth is swept into the horizon, turning the land back into the green valley it once was. Spyro's face lights up along with the world around him when Ignitus, off. I told you were a very special dragon. Spyro spins to see Ignitus standing in the fog, which makes his death completely pointless. Spyro, Ignitus? Ignitus steps up and smiles warmly. Ignitus, you did it, young Spyro. You saved us all. Ignitus escorts Spyro out of the fog to see hundreds and hundreds of dragons. There are blue ones and green ones and brown ones, a dragon for every color of the rainbow. And then 100 more. Spyro is awestruck. Ignitus continued, would you like to meet them? Spyro smiles overcome. Spyro, there's so many of them. Where do we even begin? Ignitus smiles. Ignitus, let's start with my brother Guardians. Ignitus leads Spyro to a group of 3 noble dragons. The first one is yellow and looks frenetic, intellectual. Ignitus continued. Voltaire, allow me to present Spyro. Voltaire grabs Spyro's hand and frantically shakes it. Voltaire, machine gun delivery. It borders on the miraculous, incredible, stupendous. A dragon your size defeating the Dark Master. I am flabbergasted. Flummoxed. Okay, I'll admit that Voltaire's personality is pretty accurate to in the beginning. I'll give the writers credit for that. Ignitus. Alright, Voltaire, you'll have plenty of time to express yourself during his training. Spyro, my training? Ignitus. Yes, these are your new mentors. Voltaire will teach you how to refine your powers of electricity. Voltaire nods enthusiastically. Ignitus gestures to a blue dragon with a stodgy look on his face. Ignitus continued. And this is Cyril. He will show you how to better control your ice. Cyril, clipped British accent. It will be an honor, old chap. What you did out there was smashing. Really smashing. Can't wait to get into it with you and chop it up. Spyro, wow. Thanks. Ignitus steps up to the last guardian, a mighty green dragon that seems rough around the edges. Ignitus. Terrador will help you hone your powers of Earth. Terrador. It's clear that you have some skills, but they're very crude. Perhaps with some guidance, you will become a truly great warrior. Spyro nods. Ignitus steps in front of the guardians, smiles down at him. Ignitus. And of course, I will always be here for you, your mentor of fire. Spyro gazes up at his new mentors in awe when Sparx suddenly flies up. Sparx, frantic. Spyro, come quick. It's... Spyro. What is it, Sparx? I think it's... Cynder. Sparx points to a small black dragon limping out of the mountain of Malefor. Spyro. What? Cynder meekly looks around at all the dragons coming out of the fog. Ignitus to Cynder. Come, little one. It's okay. As Cynder cautiously approaches, Spyro looks up at Ignitus, confused. Ignitus continued. Cynder was once an egg in the temple, just like you, until the Dark Master got to her. Your pasts are linked, as will be your futures. Spyro looks at Cynder. I think I knew. Outside the Dragon Temple, I sensed something. Something I couldn't explain. Cynder looks down at all the dragons, looking down at her. Cynder. I'm so sorry. I did so many terrible things. Spyro approaches her. Spyro, it's okay. He's gone now. Everything is going to be different. They exchange a smile. Sparx flies up. Sparx. That's right, it is. Let's hear it from my brother, Spyro the Dragon. The entire crowd of dragons and molemen and cheetahs cheers, and we dissolve to a pleasant field day. Wildflowers bloom, pollen drifts lazily in the breeze. Sunlight streams through the trees. Spyro flies up, flanked by Sparx and Cynder. Sparx is talking a mile a minute. Sparx. It was just amazing. You were like, zzz, and he was like, aw man, you got me. And you were like, think that's bad? How about a little bit of this? And he was like, Spyro, I know Sparx, I was there, remember? And you've been recapping it the whole way. Sparx gives him a smile. Sparx. I'm just excited to get home and tell everyone about it. Spyro smiles. Cynder looks at him. Cynder, do you think it will be okay? Will they let me stay? Spyro, of course. They let me stay, remember? Cynder smiles. Sparx, I wonder if they heard about it yet. You don't think they're expecting us, do you? Suddenly, the trees part to reveal all the dragonflies in the glen. They cheer. Spyro and Sparx light up. Flash and Luna appear in the crowd and fly towards them. Sparx continued. Mom, Dad! Sparx flies to meet them and hugs them both. Luna. Oh, my boy, my beautiful boy. Flash, don't you mean boys? Flash opens his arms to Spyro. Flash continued. Come here, son. Spyro beams and flies to them. Flash smiles. Flash continued. Hey, look who found his wings. Luna. I'm so proud of you, honey. But you know you have to be careful. There are lots of crazy flyers out there and... Sparx. Mom, trust me, I think he can handle it. Spyro laughs, and Sparx zooms in a circle, and comes face to face with the beautiful Dragonfly Glimmer. Sparx continued. Casual. Oh, hi, Glimmer. How's it going? Glimmer looks at him and... Glimmer. Bwah! She turns and flies off towards her friends, mortified. Glimmer continued, to her friends. Oh my god, did you see that? He talked to me. Sparx, the hero, actually talked to me. Sparx, beaming. Sparx, the hero? Kinda has a nice ring to it, eh? Spyro. Well, sure beats blah. Spyro and Sparx exchange a smile when Dragonfly Bully, off screen. Yo, Gigantoid. Spyro turns to see that Dragonfly Bully fluttering in front of him. Spyro narrows his eyes at him when Dragonfly Bully. Can I have your autograph? The Dragonfly Bully holds out a leaf and a piece of charcoal, and a group of other young dragonflies fly up behind him. Young dragonflies. Yeah, me too, me too. Spyro smiles and starts singing. Dissolve to Dragonfly Glen, cliff overlooking valley, sunset. Spyro flies up and lands on the edge of the cliff. He gazes out over the landscape, letting the wind catch his wings and raise them up behind him. Match dissolved to a new fresco painted in the room of the elders. It's the exact same image, Spyro the Dragon of Prophecy, looking towards his future. Suddenly, crack! The panel crumbles to pieces, revealing Sparx fluttering behind it. Sparx. I didn't touch it, I swear. Cut to black. The end. Well, that's a joke to end a kid's movie, I guess. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This script was kind of a doozy. It really was. It did have some decent moments, I won't lie, I won't deny that. But overall, this script was just really, really bad. Like, it was just an awful script. I'm gonna go more into this later after I'm done recording. There were so many awful things about it, like the fart jokes, the fetish scenes. Like, you have to keep in mind that those were written by actual professional writers. Especially the inflation scene. We were going to see an inflation scene in an actual Spyro movie on the big screen in theaters. Let that sink in for a second. With that being said, though, I'm gonna take a minute to process what I just read. So, that was the script. And I don't think I even need to say this, but it sucks. It absolutely sucks. Like, it was so bad that I feel like my soul was just sucked out of my body. That's how hard it was to get through this trash pile. There are so many things wrong with the script, I have no idea where to start. Probably the writing. The main problem I have with it is both the dialogue and the pacing. The Dragonfly Forest, and especially the Dragonfly School, feel like they were made for filler and take up literally half the story. And Spyro attempting to fly but constantly failing feels like a recurring theme in this movie. And the writing and the dialogue just feel really childish most of the time. The jokes never once got a laugh out of me. The story drags on for way too long. There are way too many montages, especially a Flash and Luna's parenting montage. That was extremely unnecessary. We did not need that. There's very little character development, and I feel like this movie was made just to be nothing more than a distraction for kids, which is very confusing because the Legend of Spyro games were made to appeal for a more mature audience. So, which audience are we going for? Because this clearly wasn't made for Spyro fans, I'll tell you that, but even as a kids movie, there's no excuse for movies like this to be terrible. Why do you think adults love Pixar and DreamWorks? I also want to talk about the fact that they added actual fetishes in the script. Oh yeah, I'm bringing them up again. One quick look at them, and you might think these scenes are part of a fetish fanfic that was made for DeviantArt. And honestly, I wish this was a fanfic. But no, this is an actual movie script made by actual movie writers. We were going to see inflation in a real movie, which makes me question if this was supposed to be a kids movie. And the fact that they even thought of putting this in a Spyro movie just blows my mind.
Something's wrong with you. Really.
I don't like to trash on writers for doing their job, but Altair brothers, no offense to you guys, but your script sucks. Your writing in general sucks. The fact that you wrote for one of the worst animated movies of all time was already a red flag for me before the script was even released. With that knowledge, I knew this movie would have been bad even before reading this. And this script alone, especially all the fetishes I had to endure, pretty much justify my point that we completely dodged a bullet. If you thought the Ratchet & Clank movie was bad, I'm just gonna say this now. You have absolutely no idea how easy you guys have it. I don't even need to say this because I feel like it's obvious at this point, but if this is the final draft, I'm honestly glad this movie was canceled. And it's not just because the script is bad. If this movie was ever released, I'm almost certain that it would have not only bombed in the box office, but this movie would have ultimately given Spyro a bad name, and this entire script shows it. Now, I've heard people argue that Skylanders quote-unquote ruined Spyro, but look, can we all just agree that this movie could have killed the entire franchise? Because I'm gonna say something that might sound crazy. Skylanders is actually the reason we got those Crash and Spyro remakes in the first place. So, with all that being said, the script sucks. It was absolutely painful to read. But you know what? Despite the past 2 grueling hours I just went through, it hasn't stopped me from being a Spyro fan. And I don't think anything else ever will. Spyro has always held a very special place in my heart ever since I was a child. And even with some of the occasional bad games, I still enjoyed the franchise no matter what. Because at the end of the day, Spyro is and will still always be my favorite franchise. You don't have to enjoy every solitary thing about a franchise just because you're a big fan of it. It's okay to have opinions about your favorite franchise too, but that doesn't make you less of a fan because even true fans can have their own opinions. They can acknowledge said franchise's flaws. There's likely going to be someone out there who will disagree with you on your opinions, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with someone just because they have opinions that are different from yours. If anything, you can even disagree with them. But I think what's also equally important is respecting said opinions. because the more you respect people's opinions, the better it will be for not only you, but everyone else. And you know, maybe that's what to take from this. There is one last thing I want to say before I end this video. If there ever happens to be another Spyro movie in the future, my only hope is that it ends up in the right hands. Spyro really deserves better, and especially today. So the only thing we as Spyro fans can do at this point is just hope for nothing but the best for the franchise. And yeah, that's all I want to say. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching all the way through this. Before this video ends, I want to give a huge shout out to all my supporters from Patreon. Ethonian409, Cyberfox64, Spyver, Bree, Jimmy Cato, Eon the Lilf, and Jacob. Thank you all so much for your support. By the way folks, keep your eyes peeled, because at some point, I'm planning on making another Spyro video. So until then, take care, and stay safe.